and welcome to a brand new, fresh season of the NLC Second Division. I'm Doug Sutter, and with me I have Brackish Britt, who has been given the honor to kick off this new season of some great Nordic League of Legends coming right out of the RPS. How are you doing, Brackish?
What were they thinking, Dogs? Like giving this honor to me of all people? I don't know. I don't mean, happy for you to be here, of course, but I'm also here. As I said, yeah, bringing the first couple of games of a new split, and we've got a whole bunch of things changing up coming into this season of Division Two.
Yeah, so much. And of course, one thing that we can start with is just how we really the first season where the infrastructure of the new NLC has really come into fruition. Already in the first game today, we're going to see Chaos Play, who came up through the regional promotional series, coming from the Norwegian league, fighting their way amongst the Finnish, the Swedish, the Danes, the English, to be here now in the second division. And yeah, it's really, at least for me, the NLC I'd like to see in terms of how you can work your way up through the divisions.
Yeah, well, on the flip side of that, we've also got Unique, who were Division 1 previously, have fallen down to join us in Div 2. And there's a few names there that I think a lot of people will know. And especially from the UK scene, Unique's top laner Synapse, formerly Synapse Sprinter, is going to be in this first game. So looking forward to seeing what he does now that he's off of Arcadia.
Yeah, a lot to be seen, and yeah, we can throw it back and forth regarding the teams, but I mean the big elephant in the room, and I don't think it's a plushie in the back of your room, but it's the fact that we have a brand new season of League of Legends too, and
Oh, yes.
some hardcore League fans might already seen a couple of pro games being played on in this new settings, but for these teams, first proper competitive setting game on the patch 14 series, a lot of new things to be digested.
For sure, top lane, a lot harder to influence just due to the general positioning of things on the map. A big old rock has been dropped onto the rift near the red side top turret, so getting around behind the top laner if you're a blue jungler, it's a little bit harder to do. Bot lane has become much more open to ganks and invades. A new tri brush been put in there, and of course you've also got big chunks of rock uh, across the river from both the Dragon and Baron pits. So again, make the interactions with those objectives just that little bit trickier for the sides that traditionally would have the easier time of getting to them.
And one of my favorite changes, of course, the void pit being given a little bit of extra dynamic in the early game. I'm always forever going to call them void giblets, but it is the new cool objective in the block, getting
Yep,
that extra pushing
call what you
power.
will.
Yeah, getting the void grubs, and yeah, it's I wonder how much these teams will focus on it. But of course, we have some teams that pride themselves on being there for every single first herald in the previous patches, but now might turn out a little bit different. You can get 1 out of 3, you can get 2 out of 3. There's so much that can happen in terms of how much that power balances out.
Traditionally, well, I say traditionally, from what we've seen of season 14, what we'll often see happen because Void Grubs first spawn at 5 minutes alongside the first dragon rather than at 8 minutes for the first herald, you can't get both. So what we often see is the blue side jungler will sort of default get at least a couple of the Void Grubs from the first spawning, and then the red side jungler will be able to leverage that to trade it for the first Drake of the game. Obviously, a first Drake stack, not usually too much of a concern for the blue side if that happens. And a few minutes after that, the Void Grubs respawn, and that's when the real fight happens, especially if blue got all of the first 3, because if you get 5 or 6, then you get some little Void Mites, some little buddies to help you take down the tower alongside that dot.
Yeah, which is absolutely great to see. And of course, some players are more versed in having a true value out of it. Of course, split pushers will clearly have a great time with the 5 or more void grubs on their side.
I
So
think
there's
it's a
probably
good compensation for the
yeah.
fact that Hullbreaker has been hull broken from being hull broken as it was previously. Completely unkillable split pushes. The day of those has gone away. Hullbreaker still exists. It just buffs up the cannon minions. It makes your split pushing better without making the champion themselves monstrous.
I mean, yeah, for what I've learned or how I think about it, if you are left alone, you will be a lot stronger at pushing, but it's harder for you to take those 1v1s or 1v2s even and stay alive in them. So it's easier to punish, but
That's
they have
kind of
more.
why I think
Yep,
that we haven't seen 1-3-1 as much, because in a lot of situations, now that Hullbreaker is gone, if you are greedy or pushed up too far as a split pusher, you don't get the free stats to take a 1v2. So if the opposing team goes, all right, we're gonna awareness check the enemy split pusher, there is a much smaller margin for error for that laner.
absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, the laners also we can take a little bit of time now as we are thrown into champ select to really think about which players do we have on the Rift. Of course, I'm instantly intrigued when I see my long time team to have been cast. The Chaos come in with a couple of familiar names, a couple of new faces. But Nihus in the top lane, not a new face at all. We see him in the Norwegian league. We've seen him throughout the Nordic scene and Europe. And then also they put in Hatrix in the mid lane, also a Norwegian powerhouse, and then Shofty in the bot lane. I'm really excited for this Chaos team, but Unique, of course, another force to be reckoned with. And yeah, we see a couple of bans come in already.
Yeah, Azir already taken off the board is just it's basically comfort for every single mid laner in existence, so we can take that away. Lucian has been looking really, really good combined with the Milio, or of course the even more traditional Nami comboing, been very, very strong. And of course, we are on 14-1B, which means that we are highly likely to see double support item, and we are much less likely to see this like gargantuan karma that's kind of looming on the horizon for our teams, at least on 14-2.
Yeah, and I do think these teams are pretty comfortable with that. It's not that there's any big changes, but of course everything's kind of new. But the meta has been forming quite quickly, Brackish, as you mentioned, and we're gonna see big swings coming up. Xin Zhao locked in for Unique right away.
Yeah, with Nocturne gone, Xinjiao is just extremely strong. You can look to leverage how completely unfair Titanic Hydra is in the right hands. I actually supposed a bit that we might see Zin's going towards experimental hexplate. That's not actually been the case for the most part, but he's still very, very strong. Still not at all a surprise to see him here as Chaos. Gonna look at their responses. They're starting it off with the Ashe, a champion near and dear to me at least, and there's not really a situation where she's objectively bad. Like, unless her numbers are through the floor, the vision she gives and the arrow will basically be merit enough for her inclusion.
Absolutely. And yeah, you saw them hover a little bit of spice Irelia right away, and throughout the regional promotional series, we know that Chaos likes to bring exactly that to the Rift and the draft. But for now, they manage to keep both feet steady on the ground, blocking in the crocodile.
I'm waiting to see what Reflect goes for, because we saw
Yes.
plenty of madness out of that player during the RPS. Unique, however, keeping it pretty grounded as well. The Oriana locked in, going to be the Ornn for Synapse in the top lane as well. So again, solid as a rock, going to be able to provide a very, very strong front line for Unique. So now just need to see what their bot lane looks like as we get on into the second rotation. And of course, that means Chaos has even more opportunity to pinch the pool. I mean, Unique themselves already banned away 280 carries. You could take
Ooh.
away two more as the
Way.
play. We've seen Humanoid play it. We saw Humanoid win with it in the LEC, and the sheer versatility of having 10 different spells at your disposal, three different combinations of Q, W, and E. It's really, really good, especially as you get to the later stages of the game. The QW,
Yeah.
the what is effectively Zerath W that has an execute component on it, can become utterly terrifying. Also, combined with his ult, the spiraling despair, that if you're standing too close to, well, kind of anyone hit by that, prepare to get nuked.
Yeah, the damage is just insane, and of course he has whatever a caster and a mage has an issue when it comes to defending themselves. But it's just so many tools, so many way to work it, and I'm excited to see that in the hands of where do you think it's going? By the way, that's the big question. Is
So
it flexible
it
here or
can
is
be
it mid?
played support. It can be flexed into the support role. I'm not too certain if it will be, especially since we've already seen the Orianna locked in. I think that's perfectly fine to Chaos to just lock that in for hat-tricks in the mid lane. It's a fine matchup. Orianna can't bully too hard. Of course, we're still waiting to see what Chaos want to pick in terms of jungler, and I think that's going to be very telling in
For
this
sure.
next rotation. Something like the Vi is something that could come to mind. That's something that can really punish the likes of an Orianna if she pushes too far up.
And but then again, you know that the Reflect likes to go a little bit harder into this lane. Oh, it goes for the trundle.
Yep.
Obviously, just a very good skirmisher and does well into the front line that is going to be put up by Synapse. But also not something we have seen too much of in this terms of playstyle from Reflect. So of course you have to put on some new shoes in the new season. But it's fun to see the Chaos are alongside the meta in that term. And the
And something
Jinx.
that's not been Jinx not been terribly meta in recent times, but a lot of AD carries have been pinched. And so Holmberg, if you want to just fall back onto comfort, have that hyper carry, that inevitability as we get later and later on into the game, then that certainly will provide it. And even more formidable frontline could be the call for Kansk. Try and even that out. It means that we could see Gallop on the Sinjao look after getting the Titanic Hydra to become more of an assassination threat than anything else. Pair it up with the shockwave of KVW, and it could be a very bad time for the side of Chaos.
It can, but of course, front to back might call for exactly this. Renata Glask is being hovered, and I haven't seen too much of Shofty, but I mean this just makes very much sense in terms of how Chaos wants to play, and we got a full draft in.
That we do. Yeah, Renata, I think, fantastic into a front to back fight situation. It's like, okay, you are just about to like get your perfect initiation, and then the hostile takeover comes through, and your Jinx melts your Orianna in front of your own eyes.
Oh yeah,
Later
yeah.
we get into the
Pain.
game, especially if Holmberg is given a moment to stack up the Pow Pow, then yeah, if they get caught, obviously we expect to see. I mean, if Holmberg does not run cleanse, I'm afraid to say they are legitimately trolling because you've got Ash Renata. If you're
Yep.
not cleansing into that duo specifically, then
What are you doing?
problems, yeah, problems abound. But if Holmberg gets caught without the cleanse, then yeah, they're just going to turn and start shredding whoever of their teammates is nearest to them.
I mean, would it be flexing to just allow Jinx to get excited just so you can hostile takeover to kill your entire team? Maybe. Sound like something maybe Chaos would do, but I don't think we're gonna put too much into that. I mean, if it comes up, we'll cast it exactly like that. Oh, Chaos lost one on purpose, and here comes the hostile takeover. Mwah. But no, we are done with draft, and that means we are just seconds away from the first game of this NLC Division 2 series. And yeah, I'm just so happy we got this game first, Brackish. I think it's going to be an absolute blast to cast with you. And yeah, also just puts both teams on the board when it comes to what is the power dynamic of the current season.
Yeah, that's the big thing that we're all excited to find out. We have people as it Unique coming down, Chaos coming up into Division 2. The pecking order has yet to be established, and a solid win today is going to say a lot about how everyone is going to perceive your team going forwards. And conversely, the split is long enough that if you do have an unfortunate stumble in this first game, it's not everything.
No.
But obviously, momentum dictates that you want to start off with a dub.
Absolutely, and you know some of these teams thrive on it. Then again, Chaos might thrive as an underdog, so maybe that's their strat to lose earlier. But no, I don't think anyone would really go that route. I think all these teams are in it to win it from the very beginning, and yeah, already see that the chat is all filled up with bragging rights. UniQ and Chaos both have their supporters up in the chat and ready to cheer on their favorite teams.
Absolutely. Hey, Beck, who do you think's going to win? My cat's a cow supporter, by the way. That's what
I
he's
knew
saying.
it.
He's all about the cows, everywhere in life as we are, I think, getting onto the Rift for, as we said, first game of the Division 2 split.
And with that, yeah, I wonder how we'll see the early game play out. There's not really much in terms of invade potential, but you know that the skirmish potential of both Xin Zhao and Trundle is something to be reckoned with. So keep a track if there's any lane invades or attempt at least stealing out some jungle.
I wouldn't be surprised if Unique maybe tries to do something a little bit cheeky in the early stages, just because Chaos does have overall a weaker start. Just the simple fact that Hui takes a little while to get online. He is not the strongest champion in the very early levels, and QW is just going to be thrown out to try and see if Unique was sitting towards their bot side of the Rift down into the Tri-Brush. And it's going to be a repeated affair. The range, by the way, on that ability is crazy high.
Absolutely. I'm gonna fix some issues I'm having. So if you keep on talking, then I'll. Join in soon.
I think I am capable of doing that. We see both junglers looking to start towards their red buffs. Maybe the case that Reflect goes without a leash. In fact, it seems both junglers are going to be going leashless. So bot lane is going to look to brawl it out in the very early stages from minute 1, from second 1. Hatrix, yeah, going to be a pretty chill mid lane, I would imagine. There'll be some little trades back and forth, command attack here. But the chances of any real kill pressure for either of these champions is pretty much non-existent pre-level 6. However, looking towards bot lane, Certified and Shofty have definitely established a little bit of dominance in this lane. Obviously, Jinx, like the Hui, is going to take some time to really get into the meat of her build. 2 items, 3 items is obviously what we're looking for to see her really pop off.
Yeah, absolutely, and with this slow early game, I also it's also fun to see how will they play from the bottom side of the map up to top, because as you mentioned, top so difficult to gank with the current setup. Of course, Synapse has put Neos in a position where there is a timer here, where he could get ganked as long as Neos doesn't push in the wave, but Ornn is going to struggle to try to hold the wave against the Renekton at this point. But Reflect deep into enemy territory. There is a ward there, so he's going to be spotted. No,
I'm not sure if he got spotted there.
It just expired.
Yeah.
Before. And here comes
Nilka is making the way down as well, which and Hatrix is going as well. So yeah, Gallop has absolutely no right being in his own topside jungle, and it will be a free blue taken away by Chaos in the early game.
Wow, that's just such a clean play, and they might gotten a little lucky in terms of the vision there, but then again, the prior top, it was what it was. The push in from Neos really paying dividends timed with Reflect's movements.
And there's basically nothing that Unique can do to trade it back, because what's Gallop going to do? Push into the enemy jungle on his own? Holmberg and Counts are under their tower. There is no way KVW is going to be able to get out with the lane state, the lane state being as it currently is in mid lane. And so It's going to be a big early advantage for the jungler of Chaos. It's really the case right now because all of the lanes seem pretty safe. Never mind. I say that as Neos goes in and takes a chunk out of Synapse. And Gallop does get spotted by the very last seconds of those ward in the Tri-Brush. Won't be able to make anything happen. So makes his way topside. Grab himself a scuttle. Yeah.
All good.
So standard.
Very much so, and yeah, but the little bit of tempo shift there from in advantage Chaos. We'll see how that plays out. Now Neos again pushing in the wave. Might be meeting Gallop on this scuttler. They'll smite, making short work of it. Reflect just loitering behind, but yeah, for now, Unique, they're managing to keep up.
Yeah, Hatrix going a little bit later for picking up taking the recall, using the teleport, and has opted for extremely early lucidity boots. So just going for lower cooldowns, not caring too much about the individual damage outputs of his spells right now, at least. Bot lane still continuing to be heavily Chaos favored, but Holmberg is doing a perfectly fine job keeping up in the CS department with Certified. So if you're Unique, I wouldn't be too worried right now. And Gallop, once again, just going to step in to take a little bit of the pressure off of Holmberg and kind of allow them to get their wave away from the tower, potentially get a recap.
The presence itself was good, but here comes a little bit of a roam from Hatrix. Know that there is some artillery long range potential, though it's not the highest impact in terms of helping out without getting your passive up. But yeah, just making sure the vision game is all in his favor, and you can see how much vision they have here in Chaos.
Yeah.
Alongside the Raptors of Unique.
I mean, there is no way in hell Gallop is going to get anywhere near mid lane without Hatrix knowing about it, as Newis putting some damage down onto Synapse. In the meantime, Reflect going to leverage that huge amount of vision towards this bot side and those chickens. Will walk in, will get that first Drake solo for Chaos, which means that Gallop doesn't really have the freedom because bot lane hasn't actually left. So he doesn't actually have the freedom right now to get the trade that I was talking about earlier, to actually get towards those Void Grubs.
Yeah, this is exactly the thing you mentioned before the game. It is a trade. Reflect will get the Drake. Gallop pick up all 3 of the Void Grubs, and yeah, it's gonna be exciting to see how Chaos would play it around the second rotation. Unique, of course, want to pick up all 6, but I think easier said than done. Yes, indeed.
So, interestingly, what I was saying there is I didn't think that Gallop would necessarily have the freedom to get all 3 grubs. It turns out that may end up not being the case with Newis stepping out of lane. Because Hatrix was actually had Prior in mid lane, I was expecting the potential roam up the river as well. Newis and Hatrix potentially collapsing onto Gallop. Ends up not happening, but we see Reflect coming straight into the Unique jungle. They have to be aware something's going on. Can spot this one out. The chase will come forward, but Hatrix is right there, and KVW not able to help.
Flashes forward, misses the Q, but gets the first blood there. Chaos casts the flash out, Kansha, but it's a great start for Chaos inside. Again, so good in hostile territory, and you see how quickly they make that play happen.
And the early wave clear from Hui, very strong with the Molten Fissure QE. Just clears out waves, maintained priority. KVW was all that he could do just to keep up in CS with the Hui, and Hatrix again leverages the ability to step out of the lane, helps out his jungler, and will secure first blood. Did go on to Shofty, not exactly the person you want it to be on, but a first blood's a first blood.
Yeah, for sure, and it did again give Reflect some time in the opposing jungle. Yeah, he's been trying to really keep the pedal to the metal when it comes to punishing Gallop, though it's not been doing the biggest amount of difference. But you definitely see how they want to play it. Oh, arrow hits, and this is no way out. He's gonna be stunned forever. What a snipe from Certified, and they get the last Void Grub.
That will be a third grub denied away from Unique KVW. You gotta be careful, my man. That is not a safe place for you right now. And even if Certified hadn't landed the arrow, that was 3 members collapsing in on Gallop. Yep, sure, he might have been able to get the grub, but that was going to be pretty much a second death for him regardless. It shows that Unique right now, at least, they need to be trying to pair up more effectively, trying to actually protect their jungler, as Chaos has been doing for Reflect.
Absolutely, and now, yeah, just keeping the scaling going to over 2k gold. It feels like it shouldn't be this much, but it's just the small things that Chaos are doing right. And for now, in every single lane, they seem to have some sort of control, jungle included.
Yep, the push from Newis has been very, very good. Again, able to leverage the ability to step out of the lane to keep Gallop on his toes. And elsewhere on the Rift has been building up incrementally. Yes, okay, they lose out a little bit in terms of the Void Grubs, but as long as they are ready to fight when they respawn, prevent Unique from potentially getting that 5 buff, then I don't think they're complaining. I don't think they're worrying.
No, me neither. And just getting that one makes a difference too, because it means all you have to do is steal away one, maybe just have prio once, and then the top laner might even be able to get one while and then run off. And then they've done it. They've negated at least that magic 5+ that you really want to have as a team.
Definitely. Reflect now going to step in towards Gallop. KVW is here to trade. I'm not entirely sure how she got that. Punch looking in as well. There is the flash to Reflect. Not going to be able to use it though.
Oh, and Unique really showing how they can collapse quickly. Snipe from Holmberg hits the mark and he gets a kill. And that is Reflect trying to get the smite off versus Gallop. I think Gallop got it, and with that, pretty big step in the right direction back from Unique.
Yeah, bot lane really being able to influence this game a lot, just purely due to the global impact of both Ashe and Jinx. That's both of them now having had an effect on players elsewhere on the map from where they were previously.
Yeah, I've checked the score sheet and it says 1 snipe each. It's an official stat. And we'll see who wins out in the snipe fight, because it seems like Holmberg doesn't want to be any worse than certified random in that regard. And he has not been.
No, absolutely not. Not too shabby at all. And Hatrix did show a nice little bit of tech off there, landing the root onto KVW as he comes out of the TP, guarantees the Severing Bolt QW. And it is really quite impressive. Newest, speaking of being oppressive, is proxying behind Synapse's turret.
This is a little mean, actually, and he's taken out the wave. Spent some time Synapse trying to catch up, but now he has to go pick up the wave. Reflect mid lane, just gets the E on the wrong side of a KYW and VW. And yeah, with that, he's out alive. But look, right around the corner, another one.
Solid nerve from KVW there. Not burning the flash, didn't feel terribly concerned. However, just with the knowledge that Gallop is towards the top side of the map, it means Chaos will be able to secure their second Drake of the game. And we will be going on to the Chemtech Rift. So, plans for days. We won't get to see the fun little new addition that came with the Infernal Rift. No longer does terrain destroy itself. Instead, cinders will spawn as Gallop has to flash away.
But we're not done just yet. Hatrix hitting. The arrow goes wide, but look at the damage both Reflect and Hatrix are throwing out. Holmberg, though, with the roam, comes up and makes sure the fight doesn't play out in Chaos's favor. But they're not done just yet, because we have the Void Grubs back up. They have caught out Synapse, who is getting collapsed on quickly. I don't know if he can find the way out. Is there any blast cones to help him? No, but he has to flash. And Chaos will do what they need. They will collapse back on the Void Grubs.
And this is continuing to leverage the pressure. And as we said, Chaos, you don't really need to care about the first set of Void Grubs as long as you're ready to contest the second set. Yeah. Won't be able to get a 5 buff for themselves, but they still get end up prioritized.
Holmberg gets the last shot off, and he's really excited about that. And that's while Shopti is off about helping out with the Grubs. Just 1v1, getting that kill. I wonder how that all the play that happened around that.
Certified getting singled out. Holmberg making great use of the early kill that was picked up. Had the slight level advantage over Certified as well. And of course, with that already completed Kraken Slayer, you're able to just hit.
Yeah.
And Jinx is very, very painful even at this early stage.
And his gold will probably mirror how he's been doing. We see the 5.3k richest in the game by quite a bit. 300 over Hatrix, who's been participating in a lot of other stuff. But yeah, these platings, these kills, Holmberg being the main damage dealer of Unique, it's just such an obvious win condition. And that's great for Unique.
Yeah, it is a tale as old as time. Have a hyper carry. Give them kills, give them farm, give them time, and they will be able to single-handedly carry a game. Holmberg is being set up well to do that in this game. Of course, that's not to say that Chaos don't have some very strong tools to potentially turn that against Unique. Of course, we already talked about the hostile takeover, but that's not necessarily it. There is Reflect, being able to limit space.
Ooh, that's a long arrow. Hits KVW, and now he doesn't have any time to answer. He tried to flash out, but Reflect getting it. But he had to step a little too far up. Gets hit, gets kept alive by Renata, but it's not enough certified is a little bit too late, and I feel like Kamsky
Holmberg's
has
still
been
firing.
on 10% HP for the 4th time of the game. Bot turret goes down, Synapse is pushing there while Nihus is going on the other side, flashes forward onto Gallop, stuff happening all over the map, no flash available there, so he gets the kill, and yeah, it's going blow for blow at every single corner of the Rift.
Holmberg
Flash
was
over
there
the
to fight.
We're not done just yet, but Shofty, huge support job, here comes the
Horn.
Horn gets over, certified flashes out, Shofty stuck, but gets knocked up, no way out for him. Holmberg picking up his 4th of the game, he's been getting every single kill from Unique.
And it's not a unique tail. The Jinx is getting going, and I mean, Chaos, they are not necessarily reveling in the chaos they are causing. They are actually losing out on their gold advantage. They're still up by 1.5k, but that is not as large as it was but a few minutes ago. Rift Herald, however, is here onto the Rift, and looks like Reflect should be able to take Shelly down without any interruptions, because they can turn into trying to solidify that tower advantage. Of course, the first tower was secured by Synapse to the bottom.
And though that previous play played out semi-even, I still feel like Unique were the ones that managed to get the pace in their favor. And it's all Chaos's initiative. They're the one that hits that Ash arrow, and of course they could have chunked out KVW and blown his flash and be happy with it, but they overchased just that little bit. Almost too hungry for the kills. Hits another one of these arrows, but they have a hefty tank in the front. This time though, Kamsky, I don't think you have a single way out. Patrick get that kill. Jump in from Gallop, takes a lot of damage. Reflecting dance out. The ultimate of Orianna doing a bit to peel off for his team, but Chaos are putting under pressure again just before the Drake spawns.
Yeah, Gallop had to burn Flash, is way too low on health to do anything to contest this one, so it will be a free Chem Soul point for the side of Chaos. Synapse might need to be a bit careful here. Reflect, not going to look for the dive. Instead, we'll just get that Drake that has basically been prophesized as theirs. Gallop has come out of base. They may look to contest this one, but still below half health. He wasn't able to get the reset off.
No flash yet.
It will basically just be a smite.
Going to step in, hits the spear. Does he try to go for the contest on the flank? Though Patrick is reigning supreme.
Reflect is low though.
Yeah, look at this engage from Unique. They pick up one. Shotty struggling to get out. Orn coming from the flank, going to hit everyone. And you see Holmberg reigning, getting all the kills, just running down the entirety of Chaos. Hot-Tricks will fall too. And is this going to be a full quadra? Depends, because Holmberg is running for his life. But Neus is losing steam. I think Holmberg will not step up for this. They're not going to get the Drake, because Neus was still available and still a huge threat. But they got so many kills there, Unique. And what a great engage from Kamsky.
And for 95% of that fight, Dog Sledder, Holmberg went completely unchecked. It was only in the dying moments that Neus is able to get on top of him. And you can see the fear of God that gets put into the Jinx when somebody is at that level of proximity. Holmberg went from destroying everybody to weaving in occasional autos between running the hell away from this Steve Irwin level croc.
Yeah, you don't mess around with Neus, and this might be a small indication for how Chaos have to think about this, because you pointed out so well. The first half of that fight, Holmberg is uncontested. He is hitting without impedance and impunity, I mean. And with that, he just gets so much damage off. Neus,
I swear I've seen this before.
This looks very familiar. This time no ultimates from Synapse though. KVW does have his still, and Chaos pretty clumped up. Flank from Kamsky, he does not have vision. They get the Drake, but will they find the way out here, Chaos? They throw the Ash ultimate on the flank. Synapse is getting the Ash with the knockup. They have a hard way to get out. Good peel, but there's the ultimate from Orianna. They get so many. Follow up from Kamsky, and the damage they are dishing out is just no match. Chaos loses another one, and yeah, Holmberg just doing so much damage again and again. Gallop a little stuck. They got the Drake, Chaos, but a tail is all this time.
The cost of 2 members and potentially the mid tower as well, and all the more the potential hurt of Holmberg, already at 2 items, now has 8 kills. Gonna take a bit of a chunk from the combo of hat-tricks, but right now we need to look for dive potential. Gallop is across the wall. The play is going to be called off, however. Can we have a look at gold, by the way? Production, I would love to see.
Oh, it's so...
Nearly 3,000.
It's so
Nearly
bright!
3,000.
It's so bright, Brackish! That's so much gold to have on a single carry. And yeah, I don't really feel that they have a clear way to deal with this chaos. They do have that one thing though, that we talked about in draft. The hostile takeover without cleanse on Holmberg. He looked us straight in the eyes and said, who do you think you are, casters? I know what I'm doing. And of course, it enables this playmaking in terms of how he can move in the fights. But if it comes to a point where he gets caught out by this hostile takeover, he's it's gonna be doomsday for his entire team, I think.
Yeah, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And in this case, if you live by the Holmberg, you may well die by him as well. Herald will charge into the tier 1 turret, break it open for Chaos, their third turret of the game. We're definitely not going to be able to get anything more out of that, though. Unique do respond effectively to prevent further pushing.
Yep.
But look at the gold right now. It is almost dead even. Despite triple Drakes picked up by Chaos, despite them having 2 towers to the advantage, despite them having more of those Void Grubs. It's Holmberg. It's all Holmberg.
Yeah, it is. It's all his gold. He's just such a threat. And it makes it so clear to Chaos that they have to deal with this Jinx. If they don't, they're gonna get melted down way too fast. They don't have the proper tanks, but they do have these two bruisers in form of Renekton and Trundle. And if they get the last Drake, if they pick up the soul, they will get so much more deadly in the situations and can run more at Holmberg. But it's not an easy task. And you see how well Unique are playing around peeling for their carry.
And we talked about it. The front line of Unique is massive. Kansha, going to be incredibly hard to kill. Already has the Frozen Heart picked up. Synapse, it's an Ornn. Need I say any more? Gallop with the Crescent Guard as well. Going to make it hard for these longer ranged members of Chaos to effectively deal with the Xin Zhao. He is obviously suffering a little bit in this game, but when his job is literally to be another body in front of Holmberg,
pretty much,
he's more than enough to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely saved the precedent feeling. I think they're gonna throw themselves body after body in front of Holmberg and just let him be the last man standing if needs to be. I love Conscious Frozen Heart. I think that's just a great pickup in terms of trying to save him from just attack speed of Reflect and Nihus, and it will just do so much in terms of saving your AD carry in every way possible. Wouldn't surprise me if we got some damage sharing items too. But yeah, for now we have a little bit of a slowdown pace. Both solo laners of Chaos are in each their flank, with the teleport open and available. But Unique, they're just pushing full front into the mid lane.
That they are. I was looking at support items, just, curiosity piqued me, and we do see that both of the supports this game have gone for the Celestial Opposition, which is the item that is basically what happens when Crown of the Shattered Queen died and got reincarnated as a support item.
Rotti, caught out, has a lot of teammates nearby. Teleport coming in, might have been counted a little bit out. This ultimate from Shotzi is not the greatest. But here comes Neus, he is after Holmberg. It's a fight. Oh, the flash goes a little bit wide. Holmberg is doing so great to run away. Are they ever going to catch up to him? Reflect is the last desperation play. He's a millimeter off to get the Q, but he gets pulled. And now Holmberg is free. Hatchix on the flank is trying to get a little bit extra off, but they've spent so much chaos trying to pick up Holmberg. But Unique doing exactly what you say, throwing everybody on in front of him, and he manages to just barely stay out of harm's way, and that means it's a Drake and 2 kills to Unique. This is just such a great fight for Unique.
It took the entire Secret Service of Unique diving in front of Holmberg to keep this Jinx alive, but Holmberg stands, holds his ground. At the end of the day, doesn't look terribly bloody on paper with only Reflect going down, but that does not do justice to how close it was for Chaos to get this immense bounty off of the Jinx.
Yeah, and there's no other way around it. That oozed desperation from Chaos. You saw the flash on Nihus. He tried to think, okay, there's 2 paths he can go out of this bush, and then he chose the wrong one. And yeah, just that little bit of margin is enough for that fight to go completely Unique's favor.
Absolutely. And now it does feel like the corner has been turned. Unique are the team with the gold advantage. Unique are the ones with the pressure, and they were able to deny the soul being picked up from Chaos. Will be another 4 minutes before that's an option for them. You already see the vision in the topside river has been established by Unique. They know what they want, and if Chaos make another misstep, then it might just be a Baron secured. With Holmberg closing in on that third item, it would melt. It would melt as soon as he came within like a mile of that
Stack
objective.
another ultimate, goes wide from certified, or in between is more is a more correct term. Of course, he can throw those out quite frequently, but you really want him to hit when it counts.
Yeah, and haven't gone for the lethality build that you often see when Ashe goes into the support role, which means that yes, it's still a fairly short cooldown, but it is long enough that every time it misses, you can sort of breathe a sigh of relief from Unique. You know that you have a minute or so of free time where you can act with less restraint, because you know that that arrow can't be there to punish you.
Yeah, you see it. They can just run up the mid lane now. They know. You see it on the entire. Let's call it the body language of Chaos. They're waiting for that next moment, and it's mostly Certified's ultimate that is going to be it for them. Nihus, he's a strong top lane right now. He has 3 full items done. His farming has been absolutely insane. 274 CS and more to come just around the corner. So he's more than a CS a minute, which is insane numbers. He's going to be a threat on the side lanes, but you see Synapse just mirroring him on the other side. Nihus now going to try to find someone alongside this foretold Ashe arrow that's going to be coming up in not too long. Let's keep a steady eye on it, because they really need Nihus to be able to join in on that arrow. They can't just hit it. They gotta have champs there to follow up.
Looking at Synapse right now, just took the recall, has gone back to base, 2 control wards in pocket, 2 on Gallop, 2 on Kancha. Unique know exactly what they want to do, and that's in this next 2 minutes, they want to drag Chaos over towards the Baron. The problem with that is that in this situation, if they're forcing Chaos to come to them, Chaos do have a level of choice which allows for a
there comes the arrow, we gotta
deadly
take that
flank.
down. But Synapse instantly with the ultimate catches out the Ashe. They're gonna chase that, teleport in from Nihus, but he might be a little bit stuck here. Has to dash straight out. They try to get the damage onto Gallop. He has to flash out. Ultimate from Quay. They have to spread out Unique, but they're struggling a little bit. Gallop is low, and now they're trying to peel off. This is a situation where the Oriana ultimate. But look at the combo! 3-man ulti to knockups. They get 1 kill back though. They're struggling, Unique, and this time I don't know if they have the damage to keep Holmberg alive. He's been doing
Oh my god!
But look at them fall! Even Certified is kept alive by the Renata, and with a triple kill to Nihus, and only Holmberg standing left. They might just head straight for that Baron. Such a huge task for Holmberg to try to defend, but he might just do that. Let's see, call it out. Wow, that was a huge fight for Chaos. So important.
So Gallop going in alongside the Super Mega Death Rocket was almost immense for Unique, but as you say, the bailout onto Certified means that the Ashe survives. The fight is won by Chaos, and the Baron will be their prize at the 28.5-minute mark. However, they need to get back out onto the map quickly. We've got 20 seconds until the next Drake spawns, the next Chemtech onto the Rift.
They don't have the time to really get this Baron, use this Baron to push out mid lane to get prio on the Drake. Not enough time. They gotta play this fair and square. Actually, even have to answer a little bit in the mid lane before they comes out. And there's Holmberg, there's Kanske. They're waiting for that moment where Chaos has to do that extra little bit of a misstep to get vision in to Drake, because that fight was intense. There was no time for Chaos to get the proper vision setup. And here you see, here comes the punish. They go over the wall, catch a huge damage, and just like that, Shofty and the Certified are put down. Certified gets out with the blast cone, but Unique played that vision game so freaking well. They know what struggles Chaos has, and they punish it perfectly. They get to Drake.
And absolutely. The stacking again denied away. KVW, you gotta be careful, my man.
Get out of there.
We'll be able to get away. But yeah, Unique making fantastic use of vision. Holmberg throwing the chompers out. Kanske following without fear. And that is Baron knocked off of 2 of the members of Chaos. You can see Reflect and Newis towards the bot side right now. They're going to try and take down this tier 2 turret. KBW, I do not know if you can defend this one when you're this low on health. No shockwave, no flash. They are just going to have to watch as this tower gets taken down. Newis goes forward.
Yeah, he just goes for it. He was getting tower damage. They get 1 kill. Teleport coming in. It's a 2v4 all in all. Let's say 5 here with Kanska. But look at the Newis! Dancing on Holberg! Is that the way he's gonna fall? And he's not done just yet. I don't think they have the damage. Silent is joining in. Ultimate is still going on. He gets jumped in again. Tries to dash up. That is a big value play for Chaos. And I don't think
that was an immense moment for Newis on the Renekton. Finds Holmberg unprotected. Has all of that healing, all of that shielding from the Eclipse, from the Sterak's gauge. Is able to find his mark onto Holmberg. That shutdown could be the turning point back into Chaos' favor. They're back at a 4K gold lead. The towers of Unique are falling across the map.
Such a tempo play for Chaos, and yeah, of course the Baron is getting out, but I can't believe that was not a bigger punish. I thought it was going to be, okay, now Nias is going to fall, I got the turret, Reflect runs out. What a solo hero play. It feels like it's Nihus versus Holmberg, who tries to be the big player for their team. Let's see if this Might Reflect gets it. Pretty big with these red buffs when it's getting shared, but what a freaking game. Such a tempo.
It's been swinging back and forth. Chaos now have the ball in their court once again. We can see that Unique making sure the waves aren't too close to their base. The rest of this Baron timer will pass, I think, relatively uneventfully, but you can definitely see that Chaos has done a good chunk with it. Sure, they haven't got the soul just yet, but they can be patient. There's plenty of game still to be played. Reflect makes his way towards the top lane. There's nobody to prey on just there, but ensuring that Hatrix is safe.
And I do agree with you in terms of having plenty of game to play, but we are at the 32-minute mark, and with the pushing power of both these teams, one dominating team fight will be game. And from what we've seen, it seems like the fights aren't really that even. Whoever gets initiative and really gets the best positioning in the start of it, if it's Unique that manages to layer their CC expertly, or if it's Chaos that manages to get their carries and their boosters onto Holmberg and just spend their team fight AoE to spread them out, Unique, to get their carries. I mean, it could go either way, and it'll end the game so quickly, unless there's some sort of player left that can hold the base. These fights, though.
Okay, Edge of Night picked up for Holmberg there. That is going to provide the level of safety that a cleanse would have afforded him for the most part. KBW though.
On you here, KBW, you are out of their circle fight. Picks it up, and they're just gonna push the turret. Eus is gonna stay in the mid lane. Backing is Sinus has to back out from the bot lane. I think he cancelled his back, so it's gonna be a couple of seconds extra, and I think Chaos will use those seconds well. Now then again, Holmberg is clearing the way really fast. Without Baron, they don't really have too much time with the minions. They're just pushing out top and mid at the same time. Still has a couple of seconds before KVW comes back. 30 seconds. Death timers are getting long.
Yeah, they are able to shove those lanes in. Unique should be able to get them away from base though, but now comes the big question, Dogclatter. 40 seconds until the Chemtech Drake spawns. 40 seconds until Baron Nashor is back onto the Rift, and Chaos can now force Unique to make a choice.
Absolutely, and this time, Unique will most likely not have that kind of vision prio at the objective that they're coming for. I say that, but then Neos is backed off, and I noticed that there's 3 red trinkets and 2 blue for Chaos. They don't really have the ability to set up properly in terms of vision without Shofty being present. And now, Unique has the prio around the Drake. Then again, Chaos can try to pick out the Baron instead, but it seems like Unique have decided what Chaos will choose. And it might actually be a full... No. Unique can't allow this to happen. And now Chaos are going for Baron. Yeah, they're going for Baron. Unique, they have to make a choice. They're hesitating a little bit, but Chaos actually not going to go for it. Gets the bluff gets called out by the blue trinket. And Chaos are still stepping up around Drake.
Chaos, if they're not going to go for it, they're going to shoot up the arrow.
Yeah, they do. Jumps out Synapse, so for now it's... Oh, he has to flash out! He's playing it slow. In the meantime, Holmberg has gotten the Drake. Chaos has spent too long. Synapse's health bar has been a very good resource to use to get that Drake. He can back off, teleport back in, and for now, Unique are the one that's playing this standoff the best.
Yep, gonna get the scuttle picked up, but Chaos are not confident enough to start off the Baron. They're going to try and find the inside line onto the mid wave, try and get it shoved out. TP now coming in from Synapse.
Yeah, they have.
I think they have. Doesn't have a flash though. Chaos, they just have to slink back into the topside river. Unique holding their ground. Chaos are unable to start off the Baron.
This is just so tense. Both teams are standing at a width of each other. Here comes the Ornn ultimate, and that's going to be so important. They hit certified with it, but it's a kind of like an Ash ultimate in terms of it doesn't have that real impact because Chaos are so good at spreading out. Neos has gotten the flank again. Reflect is there too. Chaos, they want this net to work. But Unique, they're playing the game pretty well. They're stacked up. They have to be careful. There comes Certified Arrow. They go on to Gallop. He's caught down. They get shot though. He has to get off his ultimate. There it is. Unique gets one, but they can manage to get Holmberg. Flash throw from Neos with the backline. Gallop is fighting Reflect. They can manage to get Holmberg. That's huge. Neos has done his job, and now Unique. They might not have the damage to make this fight work. Look at Chaos. Look at Neos and Reflect. They're running down every single member of Unique, and with Holmberg gone, there's just no way to get them down. Synapse has so much HP, but not even him can handle this 4-man stack with the waves here. I think Chaos might not be able to end, but they for sure will get the Baron, but they flash up the wall. This might actually be a little bit of a start to maybe try to end. No, they back off with Hui, they teleport top lane. They have no way to end the game just yet, but this Baron, right, if they play it right, should be theirs. Such long death timers, and such a great fight from Chaos, finally getting Nihus onto Holmberg when it needed the most.
Paul Bruce Brisbane, because we have got ourselves a new objective on this in the form of a gigantic Renekton played by Neris. It has been on him time and time again to keep Holmberg in check, and he has done a spectacular job of it as Chaos will secure their second Baron of the game. With that fight, the gold lead has skyrocketed up to around 9,000. It feels like it could just be the victory lap for them unless Unique can do something really, really special.
Absolutely, but of course there's so many things in terms of utility that plays out in that match. It has to do with how the wave is, how do they move their Chaos, and Synapse not having his ultimate, it means they have less in terms of appeal for Holmberg. They seem to have a pretty okay easy job to peel with them earlier in the game, but this time they really struggle. Neos was just walking forward with impunity again and again and again, and now the next couple of minutes will be so important for Unique, and the next fight they have, they need to find it the right way, their way, and we've seen them done it before today.
If they can repeat it, then they may be able to come back into this game, but Chaos, they lost control for a moment there, but once they gained it back, they have not let up the pressure as the game has gone on. They are continuing to shove in with this second Baron buff. They want to break open the base this time around.
It's a clear goal, and of course they have that Drake that spawns a little bit after, but 1.5 minutes is it's so much time at this point of the game. Every second counts when you have this Baron up, when you have the strength in terms of gold lead that Chaos is currently sitting on, and you see this 3-2 split kinda. I mean, Reflect hovering in between the lanes. They want to crack it, but it's not the easiest. It's easier said than done, I would say.
The wave clear, very, very good. Coming out from Unique. I mean, Holmberg alone would be solid wave clear, but the Orianna as well. We're looking at the Orianna build from KVW. It's very, very, very supportive this game. He knows his role, and that is to try and keep Holmberg alive, try and give whatever utility he can. I think this will be now the time. The base is broken open. 4 members towards the bot side. That will be the inhibitor going down. Neos was towards the mid lane right now. Has the TP to potentially join. There it is.
And the combo comes in. They get so much damage off. Hatrix is down. Anything. Shotzi falls too.
Annihilated.
What a huge flank again for Unique, and it's Nihus that gets pushed out, gives the opportunity for Synapse to walk on the flank. And now, 3 members left, 15 seconds to Drake. No inhibitors down, so Unique will not have an issue pushing out these lanes. And Drake is up. I think this might be Soul for Unique. And it was supposed to be easy for Chaos, but they overstepped just that little bit again.
And it just shows how important it is that Neos be there in the fight at the beginning. TPing in is not going to be good enough unless you can set up perfectly for it, because Holmberg needs to be kept in check constantly. You cannot allow this Jinx to step forwards, as Unique will be able to secure a 4 Drake Chemtech Soul. That Soul buff could make the difference for Holmberg. That 10% reduced damage when below 50% health, that could be the difference between him living and carrying this game, or dying and being the reason that it ends.
I mean, we've seen so many situations where Holmberg is surviving with that 10% of his HP. And I mean, if that is the deciding factor, then that will be almost a little painful for Chaos. It feels like this soul was supposed to be theirs twice around, but no, it's in the pocket of Unique. Also, of course, means that we have another huge objective on the map. Elder spawning in 5 minutes. Let's see if the match lasts as long, but for now, it's blow for blow. They seem to be just winning every other fight, both of the teams. But now, Unique with the tempo. Unique with the priority in the mid lane.
Kans was trying to find Reflect there, not quite able to do so. And Holmberg literally is completely armed to the nines, dodges away from the arrow.
Oh, so close! The wall. If the wall was a little bit less forgiving, that would be Holmberg giving down, but he steps snugly into it.
If this had been season 13 Dog's Ladder, that would have been death.
It would have been certified living a patch behind maybe, but no, it's of course look at the cooldown. He almost has the arrow back up already. Again, they've been posturing like this all the time. No one really knows how. Like, oh, let's see how they get to the flank. I got Caster Curse so hard as here comes. The coach from News get the kill almost, but they have one back, 1 for 1 for now. Holmberg is reigning in the backline though. This time he did not reach it. Certified trying to take up Synapse. The Guardian Angel keeping him alive a little bit more.
Is untouched.
He's untouched, he has full HP, reflected and chased down, sidestep. They have 3 members left, Chaos, so will not die just yet, and there's no big objectives on the map they can pick up just yet. So that fight is surprisingly, I wouldn't say impactless, because they're still going to push up here, Unique and get turrets, but the fact that Chaos is still alive, unless this flag over the wall, Kansuke trying to find the way forward, certified, flashes out, still had that up, does a lot of damage to Kansuke, who might fall to the tower, he does. And that is a punish for a punish. There's still a game to be played. What is this? They're so even.
That dive feels a little unnecessary from Kansuke, perhaps. The fact that Neos is dead for another 25 seconds with no TP could have allowed Unique to go towards the Baron. Unfortunately, I don't think that will be possible now. Or at least they won't go for it on spawn.
He get baited by its Canaptic magic shield. He thought he had a lot of shielding, but no, it's a wrong type. And with that, of course, he just felt like he had the win within his hands. The fact that Certified still had Flash after the previous fight is almost a little surprising to me. So might have been surprising for Sport Kansuke too. Now they're posturing Chaos ahead of Baron. It's still a long time to see Elder. They're just gonna start it.
They just go. Yeah, absolutely. They just go for it. Kansuke has only just respawned, and if Unique want to fight this one, they're going to have to do it on imperfect information with a numbers disadvantage. They are going to look to step forward, but I think it goes down before they even get there. There's the Orn Horn.
It does. No knockup from Synapse, and that means Chaos might just try to collapse here. Kansuke has joined in, but he doesn't have the time to get out of the wall. He has to go straight for it.
They are so...
But Diaz goes on to Holmberg again. Does he have the damage to take him down? It's going to be important. But in the back line, Chaos is doing so well. He gets the bailout, but that keeps him alive enough so that they take out all 4 members except Holmberg. It's the story of the game, but they have Baron. I don't think at 44 minutes that this Soul Jinx can keep the game alive. They teleport bot lane. Holmberg is there to try to be aware, be ready to clear the wave, but how is he going to do it? He has to do a real hero play if he's going to save Unique in this game between Norway and Sweden.
Mercifully for the side of Unique, it's going to take a moment for the wave to get in. Bot lane wave was the one closest, and you say it's going to take real heroics out of Holmberg to survive this one. One good pillar from Reflect will do the trick. The wave going forward, shot to go forwards.
And there
There's
we
no
go!
surviving.
No highlight reel from Holmberg, but Chaos gets to pick up their first win of the second division split. But what a way to do it, and what a fight from Unique. That was so even for so long, and I think Chaos breathing a sigh of relief, just like I'm doing right now, because that was hard fought and so even.
That was tooth and nail from the 15-minute mark. Holmberg started off getting strong, getting those kills, getting going. It looked like he might just be able to steamroll the game. But Neris on the Renekton in fight after fight, able to find the Jinx, able to keep it in check. And there was a couple of moments there where it felt like Unique might have turned the corner with the Chemtech Soul there. Holmberg is able to survive the fight, but when there's no front line, no one left to throw their bodies in front of the president, he is just going to join his cronies in the ground. And Chaos, they pick up the win.
And yeah, I'm so happy for them. They had so much going for them, but I'm also extremely impressed by Unique. Their teamfight prowess, how they played around Vision to set up for teamfights. Some of them might have been a little haphazard, like Kanski's attempt on the turret, but everything else just felt so well thought out, and that impresses me so much from a team. That I mean, they have a new setup in terms of which players are you playing with, but the coordination just seemed really there already, and it's just beginning of the split. So a loss here for Unique, but they still looked impressive in many ways.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be counting them out by any means, and extremely excited to see their games going forward in the split.
Yes, and yeah, I think we'll get to have a little bit of a break before we get the snack that is an interview. And if my sources are correct, we're gonna get to hear from Certified Random, my fellow Northern Norwegian. We'll be right back after a quick break. best match of the game. It's great to hear
Match the
from
game.
Certified, and I'm excited to hear about just from the perspective of the team from Hatrix, because Hatrix has had such a journey, been both a high tier player, been a season as a coach even. So no surprise that he really steps up at that as that shot caller, and yeah,
Oh, no doubt.
such a great resource for Chaos. And yeah, we will move on because we have games to be played, and yeah, Unique and Chaos did not make that short for us, as
No,
we
this is
are.
this is something we've kind of been seeing in this season 14, that
That's true.
games, there's a lot of comeback mechanics of sorts that you can really flip the script if you are a team that is behind. Games don't tend to just end as much as we've seen perhaps in seasons past. But as you say, move on to the next game. Carolina versus Garden Gaming is our second one. And again, plenty of names that we can talk about. Ericsson, Muckle, Shiro on the side of Garden Gaming, Wantage, Starduster on Carolina. Plenty of names, plenty of pedigree.
Absolutely. I'm of course. I'm just gonna go Norway all the way. Ericsson is a Norwegian. Is getting two games of Norwegian in it. I'm just
This guy,
happy to be here.
this
And yeah,
guy.
he's been having he's such a veteran in the Norwegian scene.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited to see him in the new squad. Garden Gaming impressed me greatly in the RPS too. Even though there's a decent amount of changes in the team.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, very different roster. But
yes, for
yeah,
sure.
they still had a very, very good showing. Of course, Carolina, a team that has remained in Division 2 from last year. But again, a very, very different looking roster than what we did see last year. Plenty of things to be excited about, though, from this team as well. Again, it's not just the Starduster show. Wantage has definitely had plenty of montage moments of his own. Ivan is going to be a name that is a little more of a question mark for me, at least.
Yeah.
I want to see how he steps up, especially into a bot lane like Mikkel and Shiro, that are very known names in the scene.
Yeah, of course, a very strong bot lane, but we also did see that it can be the deciding factor in the game that the bot lane gets so strong. I'm a little almost disappointed that the Jinx didn't just take over that last game in terms of just seeing that pure power fantasy as an AD carry come to
So
fruition.
close.
But hey, we have some more shots. But yeah, even the Dusenko going to have a pretty big obstacle in terms of MKL and Shiro. But we'll see, because of course, as we've seen, the pecking order is getting created, brackish. So much have been said before the season, but now we really get to see how strong these teams really are as we are in the pick and ban.
And Trundle, already off the board with the first ban. It is certainly something that Bash is comfortable playing, so could be a simple takeaway. And is very strong, especially as tanks are even tankier than they have been. Tank items in season 14 have gotten very strong indeed. And another little branch of the champion roster that got some nice support as well are these more bruisery AP champions. Rumble and Lilia as well fit that bill quite well, and they are going to be taken off the board also.
Yeah, straight away, and yeah, it's very. I don't completely remember all the bans from last game, but it's quite the right turn in terms of how different it is in terms of bans. None of these were bans then, so it's very interesting to see what kind of strength in this new patch. Is it
There
that?
goes Mikkels Draven.
Yeah, get it away. No way. But the Nocturne, that one will stay. And the
And we
Shinzao.
see the Nocturne ban straight into the Xin once again. It's last game wasn't the best showing of why this champion is so strong. But I mean, that was because, yeah, it was entirely the Jinx show that game. But if Xin can find early ganks, can find early kills, he can become terrifying, especially when paired with a mid laner that can really supplement his strengths.
Absolutely, and yeah, now we see the variation. MKL, of course, very prevalent on this virus. It's not something new to him. He'll carry hard if he needs to. The question is, I'm not connected onto that. Do you go lethality or do you go on hit with the current with the current patch and virus?
It depends.
Hey, it's
It depends. It really depends on the scenario you find yourselves in. The poke lethality virus can be very good. But it really depends on what you're going up into. If you're up against heavy frontline and there isn't another means on the team to melt through it, then you kind of need to go on hit to
Yeah.
deal with all of those tanks. If it's more squishies, you're wanting to play a more poke oriented game, then that's when the lethality can come out.
Talking about strengths, this Karma picked up from Garden Gaming, and you spoke a lot about it beforehand because it's so strong on 14.2. But this isn't that patch.
It is not, but it's still a perfectly fine thing to pick up. It is just something that I expect to see even higher priority of
Yeah.
when we do go on to 14.2, and we will see the Jacks locked in before we get into second band phase. Nico taken away. It is something, a little bit tricky,
Yeah.
a little bit annoying to deal with sometimes.
But I do, in terms of the flex that Garden Gaming has put up here, it's pretty strong. The Jacks can be top, it can be jungle. They have the Karma, which is
That
a
is very
four-way
true.
flex. If
Jack's
you're
jungle as well is something that you do need to keep an eye on. It has seen play. Obviously, Bo picked it up in the LEC. Obviously, during we'll call it the dry spell of KC games, but they turned it around towards the end of the split. We see yet more focus in towards the mid lane. There goes Orianna as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see a fourth mid laner hit the bench before we get R4 as well.
Yeah, for sure. But I wonder who it would be. We saw the Hui last game. I don't know how much of a pure meta champ that will be.
Orky, Akali, things that come to mind. Instead,
From all mid laners. And with, I guess, a support out at least, which, I
yeah.
mean, the ban a mid laner, the ban a support. It's
So,
clear to
but
them
that
that they
tells
don't.
me straight away is that Carol and Anna suspect that this Karma might not be support, which it can be flexed into mid lane. I wouldn't try and play it top lane in its 14.1 state, but obviously they can leave it all the way to the end here. If it turns out that there is a melee top laner that can't really punish the Karma, then you're not really losing much by giving it to Fat Shield.
And going into a melee top laner here will be a little difficult because you got that Renata Glask again. Making it so, yeah, if you're clumped up, you'll be in struggle. But this is one way to deal with it. Melio picked up as, but we already had a Nautilus.
We have a Nautilus.
And we have a Swain.
And the swing top? Hang on, what?
Hey!
Are we going back to Nautilus mid? Are we going back to Nautilus mid? Is this MSI?
I mean, I'm not sure. Is it Nautilus mid top where Swain goes top mid? I'm a little my mind's a little blown. I think you're right. I think you're right,
K5.
but I'm not sure.
All right. I like what you're putting down here. It looks like it may be the Corki locked in. It will be Gun Gaming giving that to Ericsson. So yeah, Bash will be taking the Karma towards the top lane. As far as I'm aware, Karma can't jungle. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Why not? Why not, Brackish? No, I think you're right. It looks like this is
on 14-2 maybe, because she's just that damn
yeah.
strong. But will be Fat Shield taking that towards the top lane. Bash taking the Jax into the jungle. And
Wow,
I'm really interested about this Nautilus mid. Obviously, we haven't seen it since Faker innovated it back. Was it last year or the year before?
I feel like you feel like it's the year before, but it's always a lot closer than you think it is. So probably last year, right?
I don't know. I always think things. It's like it turns out that they're older than I remember them being. And I was like, oh, think about my time when I was younger playing like COD Modern Warfare 2. I was like, oh, I love that game. When did it come out? 15 years ago, Dog Slider. 2009. And now I feel old.
Yeah, I mean, time flies by so quick.
Sure does.
We all feel it, but again, season 14, that's another way to count it. It's like, oh, when did you start playing? Oh, oh my, it's so long ago.
Season 1.5.
Yeah, exactly. That's a while. That's a little bit of a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, talking about while, it's been a while since I've been this totally surprised by a draft because it was just so quick. It's like, oh no, it's Emilio, it's Swain. Here, we knew all along, right? Wasn't it obvious? But no. They just go straight for it, and I am already surprised by Carolina now, and yeah, we'll see how that plays out, especially versus the Karma top.
Definitely, I like the Swain. again, we were talking about it, melee top laners traditionally have a bit of a tough time into the Karma. She can be a bit of a bully, and so Swain, something that's ranged, something that once you hit level 6 can absolutely go toe to toe with the Karma in an extended trade. Just keep the demonic ascension ticking for as long as you possibly can. And eventually Karma will run out of cooldowns. Eventually.
Eventually. I mean, or mana. I guess that's the resource we're
Yes.
looking at. But yeah, with that said, we are up for another one. K5 versus GG. Let's take the short versions that they are gonna show what they are good for in their first game of this season, NLC Division 2. Might the trophy be theirs?
The trophy looks a little bit. I don't know. Maybe with all the Palworld stuff
Oh
going
no,
on.
we're getting sued. No.
Yeah.
Pokemon, don't do
No,
it.
Game Freak, don't. Yeah. We are onto the Rift though. For the
We have
second
not
game
stolen
of the
any
day.
assets, we promise. As we head properly into game. Again, this is the kind of you might with the Nautilus try some sort of invade, but this is the first game. You don't want to make one of those huge blunders at an invade attempt that puts you behind, just makes you kind of tilted before you've even gotten the chance to play. You play it slow. You set yourself up here in the full chess position. All the pieces exactly where they're meant to be.
Yep, standard 5-point starts from both sides.
And as supposed to be, top lag.
A tale as old as time. We do get a chance to talk about this a little bit more. So Nautilus, obviously, it's got a good, just situational matchup into the Corki. Obviously, you're not going to be able to trade back effectively into it, but with the shielding from the Titan's Wrath, it's going to be able to absorb a lot of the poke from the Corki. And at level 6, Depth Charge, you cannot escape it. Like, you can Valkyrie, you can package. It's still going to chase you down. It's still going to knock you up, and it's still going to make you a potentially very easy target for Carolina to punish.
Absolutely, and of course we'll keep you guys posted on the delay. I feel like it's just standard. It's initiation. You're into a new season.
Oh yeah.
You have to take a little bit of a break. I'm very surprised and honestly a little disappointed that Chaos and Unique just through the.
We didn't have attack pause as well.
Yeah. No, they had too much game to play. That's how I like to think about it. But yeah, for now.
Sure did.
Yeah, for now we'll just keep you guys posted and be back in the game probably quickly, hopefully. Not much happened in the early game anyway, so I don't feel like we lost any tempo with it. It's worse than if it's just right before a Baron fight or something like that. That's like the classic.
Oh yeah. Get out of the way nice and early, then we can get back to peak action as soon as we get back onto the Rift. And I'm trying to think. We've already talked about mid lane.
Yep.
We already talked about top lane. Bot lane is the least interesting of the lanes we have in this game. But, I feel like we've got time to probably at least peek in on what that draft, what that means. We've got Varus Renata, very, very strong lane. And in fact, because we saw the Renata, we can touch in on the potential of on-hit versus lethality. Because of the bailout specifically, giving extra attack speed, extra movement speed, and the fight until you die mechanic, that does lean more towards the on-hit variation of Varus.
I do agree, and you might struggle if a Swain manages to get close enough to really start to drain the drain tank situation. I do think we'll see on it, and we are so.
He went lethal tempo as well, so I wanted to all but it was all but confirmed once we loaded in, but
we didn't have time to get that glance, We'll check out the route for sure.
Thank you, production, for letting us know of that. That all but confirms the theory.
Yeah, no surprises there. One thing I also want to check is also it's always interesting to see with this Milio, do you feel secure enough even versus Renata and Varus lane to not go cleanse as Crimson? And he does not. He still goes for the cleanse. And I think that is the wise choice.
Yes. Definitely always worth it to be respectful in that regard. Both junglers looking towards starting on the top sides. And again, Leashes appear to be a thing of the past. Everyone's wanting to get into their lanes as soon as the minions get there. However, a nice early ward placed down by Crimson and Drazenko will show that Shira and Mikkel are trying to do something a little cheeky, and they should be perfectly fine, not overly caught out by it as they get into a pretty standard start of lane.
Yeah, quite uneventful, all in all. A ward doing its job, but I don't know if K5's bot lane would have felt too surprised anyways. But yeah, they are trying to trade a lot early, so there's some damage coming out, but shielding helping out from the side of K5.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it is a little bit awkward for an Aphelios to fight effectively on the level 1 because, well, you don't actually have a spell. You can swap between your guns, but you don't get access to any of that stuff as a handshake lands.
Doesn't. Look at the damage coming out. Has to pop his heal there, Drazenko. Cairo, MKL, doing a good job.
Level 2 will come through shortly enough for the Carolina bot lane. And of course, Wantage, we expect him to fall down in CS. We expect him to forever be around or below the half health mark. It's just a case of when the opportunity presents itself, if Crisp is nearby, being able to pull the trigger of just flash auto with Q can hold Ericsson in place long enough for Crisp to do the dirty work.
See, a skirmish, jungler versus jungler, and of course the counter-strike forcing Crisp out. That trade is just so effective from the Jax. So, yeah. A flash out early, well spent time walking into the opponent's jungler.
Yeah, Crisp hadn't taken his red buff yet either, so he was disadvantaged in that trade. Obviously, Bash, with his red picked up, Bash might even consider trying to steal this one away. I don't know if the roam is good enough for it. Crisp should be able to see him off where the wind becomes lightning to the face.
Have advantage in terms of their mid laner. Crisp
Ooh,
goes
Bash.
on to Bash. Oh, that's a good time plan from Bash, as they might find a way out. MKL has to do the same, but that is an expensive invade. All three have to expend the summoners, though K5 has spent some of their own.
Yeah, like 3 flashes though, just to get out of a play that was already, in theory at least, ended. Bash, meaning that their bot lane now can't as effectively leverage the pressure that they had into Crimson and Drazenko because they have to perpetually be worried about Crisp potentially showing bot lane again, making their life a real misery.
Yeah, it's another situation where, yeah, it's a chosen situation, but it just doesn't go as they want. I'm semi-impressed they managed to keep themselves alive there. The timings on the flashes were really, really good, and it shows a sort of respect. Once you've shown some disrespect, I'm happy they didn't just double down. I'm happy they spent the necessary resources to not fall properly behind in the early game.
One
now,
notable thing that
they'll
did happen,
take
of
that
course, though, with Wantage leaving mid lane, it did give Ericsson an opportunity to take a reset, come back to lane, now has Cull in pocket, so can leverage the CS advantage to an even bigger gold lead. As Fat Shield is just doing Karma things. Worth noting, got the summon area there, so it's not the tank Karma top lane that we have seen in the past. Instead, looking towards sort of more traditional, supportive, with a bit of damage Karma, just in the top lane rather than bot.
He has to go for that fat shield, you know. If you can't go that with tank, you gotta have the AP to beef it up.
I don't know how I didn't make that connection sooner, and I'm slightly embarrassed at myself.
I am here for you both. But yeah, for now, he'll go that path. The game has steadied out. Break has spawned. Same has the grubs. And what choices they make? A jungler on each side. It seems like the die have been cast. Hey guys, double sixes.
I mean, with Fat Shield having complete priority top lane, Stardust not being in lane due to not having the TP, it means it is pretty much free for Garden Gaming to get in there and kill off the Kevins towards the top side. Crisp, as we talked about, the perpetual trade. One side goes for the grubs, the other can pick up the first Drake of the game, and a Hextech isn't among the nicer of the first Drakes to secure. A little bit of ability haze, a little bit of attack speed. It's just nice to have.
Yeah, absolutely. good value in that. And let's see if they manage to make more out of it as weaving around. Drusenko is not looking for it. Ghost pop from MKL, and they say, okay, we got what we came here for. But MKL, he does sell himself expensively. Crimson's HP a little bit in shambles.
Yeah, so I'm expecting Crimson Drusenko to try and push out this wave, maybe get a reset off. I mean, Crimson did take a reset fairly recently to pick up the Kachosh shards, so instead might just be chilling out. Obviously, the Cozy Campfire, the Warm Hug shields from Drusenko should be able to keep Crimson at a decent health total, and does also have Severum in hand as Crisp might be looking in for something here.
He is, and it might be a good counter character. Bash is on their way. Level 6 is about to be available for MKL. Flash and Cleanse is up for Crimson, so as long as they're prepared for this, this might be a good counterplay. No Jacks coming down.
Yeah, Bash deciding that it's not necessary to arrive fear. Does Carolina want to turn this into a dive potentially? Crisp still looking, but I think it is just going to be a case of shepherding the wave into the turret, allowing Crimson and Drusenko a spare moment to do some stuff, as Crimson has just hit that level 6.
Yeah, Ericsson pushing mid, a lot of time spent from Crisp's jungle attempt in the, or bot lane attempt rather. Oh, ultimate from Starduster, a lot of damage from Patchin, who will come out on top. I think it'll play out, and it's First Blood 1v1 to Starduster. The Swain ultimate just way too much, and with the Ghost there was just no way for Patchin to get back out.
That's what I'm saying, the Karma eventually runs out of effective damage to deal with the Swain in these extended fights. Bash though.
Bash not done, gets slowed down, but look at that, all those auto resets. Gets the kill back, and it's a 1-for-1. Flash for Flash. He's happy with that, Bash. But mid lane, Flash for Flash here too. Ultimate goes through, gets the hook through the minion. Here comes Crisp, and Ericsson, he has a huge CS lead, but he gets taken down. Flash in from Drusenko, saving his jungler's life. And that turns into another great play to K5 in the mid.
And that's
wow,
exactly
that was so close.
What I was talking about in Draft Dog Slider. Wantage hits level 6, lobs the depth charge onto Ericsson, and there is no escape. It nearly went very, very badly though, but Drusenko there says, I got you, buddy. Make sure that Crisp does not die in trade. That means K5 can be very happy with the position they're in right now. They are a little bit behind the goals.
No way out here from Drusenko, gets pulled back in by Sharo. The damage from MKL will be plenty. And they manage to get at least a kill in the bot lane. It is 2-for-2, so that is a kind of a nice consolation prize, seeing that they lost Ericsson in the mid lane. But for now, still a gold lead coming up for GG. A lot of that is just pure CS dominance in the top and mid lane.
Yeah, Ericsson, unsurprisingly, a good 700, 800 gold up over Wantage. The gold lead has been somewhat blunted in the top lane by, of course, Starduster being able to pick up that first blood onto Fat Shield.
Yeah, that kill came along.
Oh yes. Well, as this game progresses though, it's going to be of interest to me how much Starduster can get done, because of course lacking that TP is going to be, yeah, that's going to be quite a big thing as we get past the 20-minute mark.
But I do understand why he feels like the Ghost is obligatory. He would struggle to keep pace in the fights and do the damage he needs to do without it. But you're completely right. Will be one less tool in terms of trying to play the map. And here we see, talking about playing the map, GG picking up some Void Grubs. And if I remember correctly, and I even have an overlay to confirm it, this is the 5th and the 6th one.
It's all 6. Yeah, one tool in the TP removed from the side of Carolina, but one more tool put into the box of Garden Gaming. They're keeping it nice and safe in the shed. Whole bunch of Void Mites. A Void Mite infestation will allow them to take down these towers so much easier.
Here, Shiro checking out that there's no one here. A lot of plates have gone. Oh, but look at Ericsson! He came on the TP flank, gets Drusenko down low. He's just going to chase him down. Crimson is going to run, but that is a teleport package play that came out of nowhere, both for Crimson and for me personally. And I think the spectator got a little caught off guard too, but we had the cam there, so I'm happy about that. Very well played. by Garden Gaming again, and they keep on holding on to the lead.
And Stardust had died in the top lane as well. Fat Shield picked up the kill as assisted by Bash. Make sure this Swain can't get out of control in this early lane. And we see the Karma Tech. Malignance picked up. Basically, you just say what ultimate cooldown.
Yeah, exactly. It's nonsensical. Bash coming to the bot lane again. He's not spotted on any wards. MKL is an excellent little treat for K5 to overextend onto, but it doesn't seem like they will fall for it. Rather goes for the Drake here with the private they got. Most likely in the mid lane, but also in the bot lane. This is a notion. It's also a nice one to have at this point.
Yeah, Crimson didn't have enough mana to really commit, and by the time that this Drake is secured, in fact, they can try and find a chase angle here. Wanted does not have flash, but this is Shiro.
Yeah,
no flash for the Renata though.
That's a little painful. Shiro does go down, and it feels like he died just to get a couple of honey fruits, because I thought he was out. And yeah, that's a nice kill to pick up. It's not like GG's game plan will fall to shambles because of it, but it's just a little painful. Oh my gosh! He has no chill as he jumps down upon Crimson. Not a moment of respite for him to hide away. And yeah, no flash or cleanse available either. That was already said and done and set in stone.
Oh boy, living up to his name, Bash. Bashing Crimson's face in on the Thelios there. And yeah, the ward sat in the tri-brush. Was the difference maker for Bash, able to get in, secure that kill. And things looking pretty damn good for Garden Gaming. They have been keeping their potatoes solidly arranged. They are 3k up in advantage. We can see Void Might spoiling, Ericsson being pesky. Only a couple more seconds for plates to be secured.
And I think he'll spend those well. Now Crimson stepping up, stopping Ericsson from getting that little bit of value at the end, but MKL probably pick up a plate here with the might that spawn. Yeah, Garden Gaming, comfortable position. And this game, it will have some... outstatting your opponent will be a thing. There is a lot of Swain wanting to stay alive long enough to actually be able to do damage and drain. But if the opponent is too far ahead, he just becomes such a worthless champion. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far Garden Gaming can snowball this lead. Because if they're snowballed, I don't see K5 really stepping up.
No, right now, Wantage is currently just left to absorb pressure towards the top side of the Rift, while the rest of Carol and Anna fully focused on getting the Rift Herald down. The wonder is, of course, what costs do you pay for it? It seems like it is just going to be first turret secured, a little bit of jungle poached away by the side of Garden Gaming, as well as Bash will take away that red buff from Crisp. But still, the gold lead, these fights haven't been huge. We haven't seen a full 5-on-5 yet, but the gold just keeps on creeping up and up and up in Garden Gaming's favor.
I almost can't believe this gold lead. It looks unreal in terms of what has happened in the game. But I mean, just hitting that little bit of HP on that minion gives it 21 golden Ericsson. And if you do that 100 times extra, I mean, you're gonna have this lead. And yeah, plating
60 CS up, nearly 2.5k in advantage over Wantage.
Damn.
And yeah, the Corki did get punished once with the depth charge play, but for the most part has been kind of chill.
For a punish here, but gets to dash away Ericsson. Maneuvers slowly back into the mid lane to answer Crimson's wave. Garden Gaming.
One thing
want more towers.
Should be fairly trivial for them to pick it up. There's not really much Stardust can do to stop them unless he wants to commit to using the Dynamic Ascension under his own tower. Meanwhile, Shaz will get put down mid lane, tower will get secured. Ericsson is completely out of reach at this point. In fact, Bash and Fat Shield now coming in to look for the engage.
Is this a play? Bash no flash, but if he had, they were really clumped up. But they managed to peel away K5, but GG, they were out for blood there. Of course, they won't be overextending, but you can see it in their eyes.
Yeah, they knew roughly where the situation lay. For the time being, they are now looking to close out that first ring of vision, take out that last tier 1 turret in the mid lane, which could lead to the first big fight.
Vantage on the flank, engage. Ericsson has to flash out. For starters, will have no issue getting Ericsson down, but that's a fat shield. It's a fat shield. Ericsson stays alive thanks to the top lane support. The fight in the mid lane still going on. So much damage coming out from Crimson, who is left unbothered. So the fight's still an advantage of K5, but that could have gone so much worse.
Definitely could. However, that does mean Carolina have the inside line with Bash being dead, picking up this first Cloud Drake of the game. Nothing else to really contest right now as the TP comes out from Wantage. They need to be a little bit careful as the root will land.
Will and God Game, you're here. Got a lot of poke through the Karma and the Corki. Of course, no smite is the big thing. Oh, Ericsson! Big rocket onto Emilio. The Drake goes to K5, but now here comes the rest of Garden Gaming, picking up 2 kills. They're chasing Crimson. Look at Ericsson's damage! That's insane! Malignant's also in his kit. He ults over the wall, doesn't hit Crimson this time, but a double kill at the end there seemed like way more than they could bargain for. Oh, but look here, gets to catch out Chiro. He's in big trouble, gets help from his top lane support. Ultimate from Starduster. MKL is here. He gets bailed out, but it's not enough damage to really cash in on it. But here comes Bash! He comes in at just the right moments, and they get 2 for 1 back at it. And now they're getting so many kills and so much time here, because this Death Timers, they're staggered, Brackish. So much time for good gaming.
Tier 2 turret in the mid lane. Feels like it's going to be pretty difficult to defend.
Bot lane too.
With the Void Might as well, it will go down. Bash jump on out to safety, try and escape the wrath incoming from Carolina. Meanwhile, Ericsson left completely alone bot side. I don't know if he can get the turret down without putting himself at great risk. There is the depth charge.
Can they get the rest of the team there? Oh, that sidestep is really good. Vantage does not have flash. I think Ericsson, he's out. He's out. The tower doesn't fall, but the fact that he doesn't get punished more is just a testament to how cool-headed this Norwegian mid laner is. Double the CS of his opponent and just sends sidesteps just like that.
Yeah, could have been a heck of a lot of gold going into the Carolina pockets if Ericsson had gone down there. 4-1 right now. We see, as you say, the Malignance build. At the start of the season, we did see a little bit more of pure AD Corki with the Trinity Force and the such like, but now it has seemingly come into focus that Malignance turns out with a low cooldown ultimate, like the rockets on Corki, you can leverage Malignance to terrifying effect, especially when you combine the MR shred that its little pool gives with the shred that you also get from the Gatling cannon.
Absolutely, the cumulative damage is huge, and you saw how Ericsson just played. He played around the fact that he could, through his cooldowns, get to those big rockets just so quick, and it took half of Crimson's HP pool. Jisenko got almost one shot. I mean, such huge damage from such a rich Corki, who's he's on the Nihus level of CS we saw last game. Insanely rich.
Are you ready for the top lane Mamba Dogslinger? Because apparently Carolina really want to find somebody to kill towards the top side, and there's nobody there.
No, I mean, they're looking with longing eyes. Fat Shield is walking there. Ericsson is joining in, so maybe this is some sort of delayed effect, but they kind of have to make this work. Now, Fat Shield might be overextending. Here comes K5! You waited patiently, and it might be paying off. Ericsson took a lot of damage though, but yeah, they get one killed. Now they have to peel off, because Ericsson is kind of 1v5ing, and here comes Shiro! His ultimate will be so huge, but he gets pushed away. That boy buys just that little bit of time. 2 of them caught in the hostile takeover. Misses the rocket Ericsson, but here comes Bash. Gets pushed back by Crisp, and that also buys time. Only Vantage going down is almost incredible, because I thought K5 would fall almost fully there, but they managed to just make the right decisions at the right time. 1 for 1, I mean, K5, you can accept that.
That could have been so much better though, but Crimson was completely unable to participate in the fight. Garden Gaming are now going to take this opportunity to start up the Baron. K5 now going to have to scramble a little bit to get in. Their front line of Wantage is not here.
Yeah,
Stardust is not all that tanky.
He doesn't have an ultimate, so this will be really hard to contest. Crimson stepping up, Ericsson going hard onto it. They have the Baron. Now they gotta burst down this Philios. Crisp coming, Teleport also joining in. The Clash is just so bash. I mean, it's so tanky. Ericsson is getting free reign to shoot down, and this Garden Gaming squad has no chill as they're running down member after member from Carolina. And yeah, with the Baron getting flash out of Vantage at the end, they might just be pushing for inhibitors now.
The Baron has been secured. There is that traditional saying, I couldn't tell you who it came from, but they always said the first Baron takes tier 2s, the second Baron takes inhibitors. Well, the tier 2s were already low health, Dogslider. Yeah, they're already going down, and there's plenty of time left on this Baron.
It does seem like they want to play it carefully. It's still early on in the game, only 22 minutes. They reset, they spend this juicy amount of gold. Look at the third item done for both Fat Shield and Ericsson. And now they can just reconvene at the Drake. And yeah, it's just such a good position for Garden Gaming.
And we're now at a 12k gold lead for Garden Gaming. Carolina going to try and get themselves a soul point for the Cloud Drake. It looks like Garden Gaming don't care. And honestly, I don't blame them. They can show out the mid lane. In their minds, they are so far ahead. And I agree, by the way, that I don't think the game, if they play this correctly, is going to last long enough for a soul to spawn.
And the value that K5 gets out of it isn't all that much. This is just them spending every
out
second
of combat movement speed.
Yeah, no problem at all. This is going to be combat all the time. They're going to push for the win here if they so want. Garden Gaming pushing through the mid lane. They're not backing off to try to get the side lanes either. I think maybe this is Nexus attempt, because they are just
doing everything up.
Ericsson getting engaged on, but he jumps back. Good ultimate from the Shin Sao, but the damage, the stats are just so lopsided, and Garden Gaming are mowing through the Philios, the Nautilus, Stardusters running with his wings between his legs, so to say, and with the next wave, they might be looking for GG. Even throwing the Void Bites onto the Nexus just to make sure they get every single little bit of damage. And can a hero performance save the game for Carolina? I do not think so, as both towers go down. So does the Swain. First game of the day was long. This second one was decisive and short as Garden Gaming pick up the win.
It was back and forth for a short while, Dogslider, but at the end of the day, it's quite simply just a wallet diff for the side of Garden Gaming. They started acquiring advantages. Ericsson was able to build up such an untenable gold lead in the mid lane. Was a complete item up on Wantage. We saw a similar difference in the top lane as well. And those numbers outside of, you said, some sort of heroic mismatch,
yeah,
the numbers don't lie.
It doesn't at all. And with that, it feels like almost winning through the map, winning through just having better CSing. Of course, you're gonna struggle as a Nautilus versus Corki, but the Corki just staying safe so often. The only time he got punished in the mid lane, it was just barely, and they had to throw so many flashes in to save. Even then, I mean, I'm very impressed by Ericsson, and in general, just very impressed by Garden Gaming's performance, and that was very strong and decisive.
Yeah, and we weren't seeing some kind of crazy bloodbath murder fest this game either. This was all off of calm, clean lane advantages, converted to macro advantages, converted to objective advantages, converted to games won.
Yeah, and it can be done as easily as that. And with a completely different game 2 from game 1, we are going to have the joy of getting a last little interview in. But before that, we'll take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather. We have more juicy League of Legends to come right after this. And welcome back to
Yo.
the NLC Second Division. So we're joined here by the jungler of Garden Gaming, one of the key players. Congrats, Bash, and welcome to the stream.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I mean that was quite a stomp. We had our thoughts, but in what way did you guys think that you overcame Carolina?
I mean, I think first of all, the draft, the draftive is like fairly obvious, I would say. Like we had the scaling right, and we also got the 6 first void grubs, and we only lost like 1 Drake. So we have like the scaling, and we got the early game objectives, which is like pretty illegal for us to get, I think.
So you talked about draft, and I mean, the area in particular that we could perhaps home in towards the mid lane of this Nautilus. Obviously, we've seen it done in the past. It was kind of a thing for a bit when Faker did it. What were your guys' sort of reactions when it came out? And did Ericsson really have any thoughts about it? Was it just like, oh, sweet, free gold lead?
I mean, at first we obviously thought it was support, right? And then we saw the flex and we were like, what the fuck is going on? Like, is it going jungle or what's happening? And I remember Ericsson was like, I think 3 minutes into laning phase or some shit. He was saying, this is like a free lane, guys. It's GG or something. So I think he
Did build up
had
a
a
gold
fairly...
lead to make certainly built up a gold lead that would, make me think that he backed up his claims there.
Yeah, definitely pop off the goat.
Definitely, and
So-
and with this, we were talking a little bit on stream about the pecking order, in terms of how strong are the teams in comparison to each other. How are you feeling about your guys' lineup and how you'll do in this season?
I mean, I definitely think we have a chance to win. That's obviously why we're going into this. Chance to win it all. I think the other rosters, so some of them are also pretty strong. But I think I have to say we're just better, right? We're gonna push through. We have the good synergy. I think everyone does their job on the team and playing well.
Absolutely.
Aside from the usual hopes you have, is like, oh, perfect split, win the split, promotion. What's the actual like vibe in the Garden Gaming team right now? Is it all memes? Is it all serious, no jokes, or is it somewhere in between?
I think I mean usually I post like a meme or two after every scrim, right? Have to do it. I think the vibe is pretty chill. We do have like 30 minutes draft prep and stuff like that, right? So we are taking it serious and trying our best. But I think we're pretty chill, having fun, trying our best.
Will there be any top tier memes after this game?
I mean, you might see something on Twitter after this. Maybe
Stay
a few
tuned.
ones. Yeah.
I mean, if you can we can write out your Twitter handle. Then, if you do it, you deserve to get a good meme, in my opinion. So, I mean,
Yeah.
just take a little screen cap, everyone, and you'll see it later. But then again, thank you again, Bash. Congrats with your great victory. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys for the rest of the split.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
And with that, we
That's us, at
are
least.
done for the day, Brackish. I'm glad we
are.
got to hear from Bash. What a great guy. But it doesn't mean we're done with League here on the NLC stream. Day 1 of Division 2 continues, and we got Temporal and Carvis picking up the slack after the two of us as we go into another 2 great games. It's been a joy to be here. It's a joy to cast with you, Brackish. Any last words before we sign off? Oh, I know it's the wrong
I
way.
need to do the camera angle. That
Yeah,
way,
there
that
we go.
side. There we go.
There we go.
Always a pleasure, Dog Sledder. And always a pleasure to be here for you guys on the second division. Feels great to be back. We got a whole split of fantastic action coming your way, and I'm going to be right here for all of it.
Thank you so much.
Hello. Hello and welcome back to the NLC Division 2 kickoff day. My name is Carvis. We've had 2 banger games and we have 2 more to go. Joining me is Temporal. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing great. I'm doing all right. I'm excited to see how Division 2 is going to do. I think we all enjoyed the regional promotional series. It was a fantastic tournament. And now we get to see the continuation. We get to see what happens to Div 2 after a winter off. I'm excited to be back, and spring's looking pretty exciting.
Yeah, and we have the literal continuation with our 3rd game of the ENI. The winners of the RPS Rich Gang is coming out to the Rift with a completely revamped roster. I don't think anyone is surprised about that, but they're still looking fairly strong facing off against Fourth Wall. And let's just get it out of the way. Fourth Wall are rocking some interesting play.
Yeah, we've got Sir Victor returning to the roster. Really exciting. Saw him live when Fourth Wall were playing NLC 2 out of their studio out in London. That was a fantastic time. He's back, and yeah, brought some new friends.
Yeah, and one of the friends is a fresh import all the way from China. Warrior will be joining us in NLC Division 2, playing on possibly what 200 MS
Wait, playing from
China. Yes.
I didn't know that was possible. I think that's 10 out of 10. No handicap. Warrior's not first. He didn't care.
And yeah, this player has caused some waves, whether that be on social media or in solo queue, where he got challenger all the way up to 1k elo. And this team otherwise filled up with some maybe smaller champion pool type players, but they're all powerhouses in their own ways.
Yeah, we saw Toxygen for Lynx Legacy in the RPS. You know, pretty decent. Played some control mages. Exciting stuff. If you got 1000 LP on the Ionia Super Server, I don't know what you're doing here. This is an interesting predicament, interesting place to be. I'm only imagining Warrior's going to go straight for the Jinjiao, not because of any particular reason other than it's super aggressive. And when you have that ego and you're like that, I'm this good, you find the fastest way to push it. Sort of in contrast to that Rich Gang, some familiar faces. We've seen Fruity Fresh before. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some familiar faces to me since there are 2 Finnish players on the side of Rich Gang, and Fruity Fresh and Stumpy, the 2 players that you were about to mention, are probably the most interesting players on this team because Fruity Fresh, give him a mage down that bot side and he can play it. Quay, Aurelian Sol, Swain, all of those are his mainstay picks, while Stumpy can rock some interesting pockets like Heimerdinger that we rarely see up on the top side of the map. What we regularly see, though, is the Azir first pick from Fourth Wall.
Yeah, it's very strong on the patch. We're on 14.1 BE, which is why I'm not explaining why we're banning Rumble and Akali. They're very good. Lucian also a very powerful bottom laner. You know, the Nocturne also a strong pick, picks up the Kevins, the Grubs nice and quickly. Quay coming through so early is a bit of a surprise. This is a long-range artillery mage released in the offseason. Competitively looks quite compelling. Hard to stabilize through the mid game and takes off massively later on. We're looking at support, maybe the marksman position played as a mage or mid for Quay.
Yeah, a flex pick, which usually isn't the case for this Siege mage. Again, Fourth Wall sticking to the meta. Aphelios has been showing up quite a ton recently.
This is indexing very hard into scaling. With the Milio coming through as well. The Azir does take a little time to get going with Nash's being that much stronger. It's really great for him, but they're still missing a lot of early game. There's a power vacuum here that isn't fixed by an early jungler because the Azir still won't 2v2. So interesting to see how they balance that around their top side. Maybe something like a Renekton.
Also interesting that Varus has been completely ignored this draft. Has been the mainstay meta pick, first picked even occasionally.
Yone really powerful. Good into the Azir, has a very robotic trade pattern that comes out advantageous. Starts to knock the Azir down. So I'm guessing that's going mid. I don't really see a reason to keep it flexible. The Xin Zhao, the aggressive junglers, pairing something together so that Fourth will have an active early game. That piece missing. It's what Rich Gang are going to attack in the second phase. Fourth Wall, there's a lot of long-range artillery here. There's a lot of setup. Some key team fighting pieces going missing would be pretty good.
from Rich Gang, I'd be thinking, are they going to flash forwards with the Renekton? Are they going to try and play something like the Nautilus support to get this going? The Blitzcrank, huge win rate on 14.1. Not surprised at all.
Yeah, Blitzcrank, one of the surprising power picks to come out of
It's
this
great.
new items.
You've got this like defended AD carry and this enchanter is just like I'll have this one. It's just very easy to disrupt.
Another easy pick. Vi getting taken out. Warriors pool getting smaller and smaller as we speak. There's still things like Lee Sin that can access the backline and be that early strong jungler, but this pool is getting really small.
Vi is like pretty fragile when she ends up running forwards, right? She can often be exposed. We've seen that in LEC, the amount of time I think Carmine Corp fans have been watching Bo stranded on an island because he was trusted with like the Vi. The teammate needs to come together around him, and we all know that didn't happen for pretty much all of their winter season by the last few games. You can expose the Vi in that way, so I probably would have preferred a ban on to a Lilia or a similar sort of super archetypal mage that works really well with the rest of this. That Zack's probably heading to the top lane, gold dependent. The tank has taken off this preseason. Wouldn't mind seeing a flexible jungle that can sort of try and change the matchup into whatever stump he's going to pick. Having R5 reserved for Rich Gang's top lane, I mean, this is something in the blind.
Huh. That's a Zack.
It is. So the Zack tops really well with the new item. I'm still calling it Magic Sunfires. That's not the correct. I think it's Zales. I can't remember. In any case, Cassante also really, really good with a whole bunch of tanky stats. Really oppressive this preseason. It's not preseason, is it? Early season. We got rid of preseasons. Interesting concept. Jax here wouldn't be too bad from Rich Gang. It would be a bit of a statement that they're going to play
Lilia
the
top.
lane. Oh, I'm a fan of Lilia top. This is my favorite pick so far this year. I'm not even worried about the nerfs because they don't affect it too badly. The only thing better than Lilia jungle is that Lilia with a bunch of gold in topside. It could be the Maokai moving up, has a good tank versus tank. Personally would choose the Lilia to try and put some hurt on the Cassante.
It could even be a Maokai top. Maokai can do quite well against the tankier champions.
Tank versus tank, he's all right. Cassante turns off his ability to tank at some stage, and at that stage kills the Maokai.
That'll be until level 6. Maokai early on can be quite the lane bully. Like way back when Maokai wasn't primarily a jungler, he was the mainstay tank lane bully that could do a ton of damage level 3, level 4 with those max HP
seasons 5 through 7 mostly, because he had his ultimate rework that sort of changed that. This is all ancient history, by the way. Welcome to the NLC. I hope you're having a good evening. Changed his sort of position and made it even more favorable to me in the jungle, because previously you used to throw down your big sigil in a side lane, take no damage, push your lane, move to another lane, take a team fight by putting the sigil down. In this case, it's just going to be a bit of wet noodle trading on the top side.
Yeah. What I'm the most excited about is that we get to see Warrior, how he faces off against the cookings of the Finns on the side of Rich Gang, as Meta faces off against, let's just say it, off-meta picks.
Oh, they're pretty much meta now, you know. I'm not totally surprised. Not completely out there. I think it would have been even more meta just to put the Zack in top lane. Like, it's an absolute terror in solo queue. A challenger GM. I've been enjoying watching people play it. It's been a good time. And then this is sort of leaning more into, you know, Rich Gang are trying these slightly more traditional things, but they're the team that just joined the league. And fourth wall, the team that are returning after a stint in Division 1, are pushing the boat out, are trying some of these absolutely new season. I don't want to call them off standard just yet, because I think we're going to see a bunch more Zack in competitive, especially at this level of gameplay. It's really exciting to sort of see the different approaches, the different philosophies, the different amounts of confidence maybe in the draft.
Sounds like we are just about ready to head to the Rift.
Have you got the button, Carvis? I can't see the button. Can you see the button?
Where's the button?
Where's the button?
There we go. We finally found it. Welcome to Game 3 of tonight. As we already said, fourth wall facing off against Rich Gang. And we still haven't seen too many level 1 shenanigans going on as we head to another pause, we have some more time to fill and talk about these
again. How you
players.
doing? Surprise! I didn't expect to see you here twice tonight. No,
I would hope you expect to see me at least twice, considering we have 2 games. Third time might be surprising.
Not so quickly. I'm winding you up. Yeah, the way sort of the terrain has set up around River, you're either going all in with your Blitzcrank around like a new entrance to maybe red side blue buff entrance. So we're thinking like east right side of the map, which gets pretty lethal. If anything does go wrong, it tends to get like more explosive. But in general, harder to stick out, harder to find people. The vantage points from bushes into the river are better, and you can see more coming. It's always a good thing.
Yeah, it's been highly skewed towards the bot side red tri-brush.
Everyone's loving running in there so much. It almost feels very unusual that we used to dive blue T1 so easily in bot side, and now that it's mirrored, it just feels so nice to walk in there.
Well, depending on which side you are on.
I think even getting away from Dragon, sometimes if you're greedy returning from Dragon to bot lane as red side, you get picked out. Now you just saunter through your jungle. Nice and easy.
And speaking of sauntering into the red side jungle, on this bot side of the map, since we have the Hui Senna duo lane, rarely seen.
It's certainly a lane. It means all of the AD damage will be coming out of the Senna and 2/3 of Yone's damage this game. It's still a pretty decent profile. The Senna, very popular this early season, be it with a more traditional carry or over the top of the tank. And yeah, it doesn't struggle too much into this double range. Start with your Q, especially if people's health bars aren't full. It's a nice and favorable trading pattern.
Yeah, and they are the ranged bot lane. They have so much room to play with against Emilio Aphelios as top lane. We have a one-on-one trade as Stumpy has hit level 2 before Victor. He needs one more minion to get it, but the Bramble Smashes are taking him down for the first blood.
That's really rough. You could kind of get what Sir Victor was going for. You trade the damage nice and low. Maybe you'll get in there, but even though he's popped his ghost and tried to space, the level 2, too much. Stumpy controls that one nicely and punishes in a 1v1 where you don't normally see takedowns that quickly. That's got to feel so great for Stumpy. Another one of those, and he'll be in a prime position to start pushing tower, maybe proxying, making the most of his aggression.
And a Cassandra that falls behind this early on may have a rough time recovering from that without some additional jungle assistance, but Warriors constantly pathing top side. Ooh, hitting a tower shot.
He's still on his first base. Stumpy's not left. This is a horrible situation for Sir Victor to be in. Without investing any gold, without investing any time in heading back to base, Stumpy's returned them to half health. And while Cassandra can do a little bit of healing in combat, he's got his grasp on. It's nothing like Maokai's passive. You have to be so careful dipping your health bar there.
And this is the power that the Maokai can have in these sorts of tank-on-tank matchups, that he can start to dominate early on. Level 2, 3, 4 are where Maokai is the strongest in this early stages of the game. If you weren't playing way back like Stumpy was, you may not have any idea about this.
Difficult situation. Stumpy does have to be careful to not take more tower shots. Sir Victor not too far away from lethal range. The cookie will give him 10% of his missing health back, thereabouts, once Stumpy has continued to Bramble smash his way forwards in this lane. Letting the cannon come back out now. Oh, okay, Stumpy's going to hold that. Try and get a little bit of a lead on that into the tower. Try and disrupt the base.
Yep, gets the cancel recall, and now the lane is in a horrible position for Victor. And Warrior, while he was looking for a gank angle after the scuttle, just doesn't have a chance. The Stumpy's going in again! Bramble smashes him backwards, gotta get the slow from the sapling, doesn't have the cooldowns necessary to go for anything more, but this domination is showing in an eventual XP lead.
Indeed, hasn't quite transpired into CS yet, so Victor's just managed to hold on nicely in the wave. Only gold from that takedown. Good start to lean itself out. Right, so Victor has stayed. Warrior nearby looking to cover for him.
Has the pull back, flashed away, just using it for safety. Doesn't want to be anywhere near the tower in a 1 versus 2, giving his top laner a small breath of relief.
I wonder if Sir Victor is sitting on enough gold for a Barmies now. This might be a really good time to get a Barmies base in. Your Ghost coming up, Stumpy's flashed down. You can keep the experience about the same. There's a 1v1 reversal in the cards there.
And here's Lilia, one of the best grubs takers in the entire game, already taking down the first one. As we see the gold lead pretty similar all across the map, but these objectives are going to fall and fast with Warrior. Again, pathing towards the bot side of the map. There's no way to contest those. And so far, so good for Rich Gang. All lanes winning in CS or kills.
Yeah, Fourth Wall probably not too upset about this. They're going for deep scaling later on. You're not in a rush when you're playing Aphelios. You're going for your 3 items. Azir similarly happy with a big shuffle late in the game. Only needs 1 chance to take off. Doesn't need to rush in finding it.
And Zac, one of those junglers that you constantly dread seeing in solo queue, usually causes havoc very early on with the E, has so much impact with the unique gank path he can take. But Warrior just hasn't been able to find his way in any of these lanes, and it feels like there might not even be enough power just yet.
In a bit of a weird situation. At least the lane he's trying to gank hasn't found level 6 yet, but despite getting the flash out of topside, Sir Victor does get that reversal kill, didn't need the items. Level 6 from Cassante is a just absolute cinch in this matchup, and with that, Stumpy's positioning a little over-aggressive and a little bit too much to handle for the trade.
But once our analysis on the caster desk has been correct, I predicted the
we know
early...
what we're talking about, Calvis. We know. Have some confidence.
Well, Rich Gang knows what they're confident in, and it is taking that dragon. Should be easy pickings from them. Again, Lilia, one of the best junglers on this patch when it comes to objective damage and clearing super fast. Is able to get this one early objectives. Still going the way of Rich Gang, even though the turnaround on the top side has started to happen.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to, so far, the consensus I've come to is that Grubs is better than First Dragon, even if, at the start of the season, it's like, oh, maybe if it's Infernal or Hextech, like, maybe I want First Dragon instead. Having the threat of bringing someone to second Grubs, just like second Herald previously, to make sure you don't get buff 5 and 6, which really allow you to push the game, or really slow your opponents down. So Victor's starting to trade again. He's not got his ultimates, does have to be careful to not overextend this one.
Again, even though Maokai has the passive to heal up with, you have to engage in combat, and Sir Victor's fine if he has the HP advantage going for any sort of.
Maokai's trade pattern is sort of a bit chunkier. If he's got his Q and his passive, that's great. Otherwise, the damage starts to fall away, and you want to dodge away from those Entofo strikes. They're more consistent. They're every 2-3 seconds rather than a bigger cooldown. Warrior once again trying to get in on this top side.
No flash, and Stumpy stuck, getting smacked down, trying to escape with the ultimate. Procs phase rush, but Victor has the ghost and should be able to catch up. Rhoda's near, though. This could be a turnaround if they're not careful. Trying to get the kill on the Stumpy. One more hit will do it. Warrior secures it. Victor's asleep. One more hit secures the trade off. And now chasing down the enemy jungler. Broda wants to keep this fight going. There's no way the Zac can contest this in any shape or form. Dodges away from the empowered Q, but has to go into passive. Will Broda be able to secure the kill? Now Teleport coming in, saving his jungler, but a 1-for-1 trade between the top lanes.
It's a huge investment from both sides there. Zac's passive does allow him to go a little deeper, make bigger plays. That's probably not where you'd choose to use it proactively. So Fourth Wall spending big there. However, they have continued to accelerate Sir Victor's Cassante, something you want to see in a big team fight composition where later on he will have to be the glue. He will have to be the statue standing strong in front of Pipey, in front of Toxie to allow them to make their big plays. All Rich Gang getting in return is a little bit more gold on Lilia. She's not going to be sort of this playthrough everyone carry unless Rich Gang managed to translate through now. Looks like they are getting those second grubs, so they will be getting towards a bigger Void buff. We'll have to see if that makes the difference in the next few minutes. Second Dragon will be the sort of tell-all as to whether Fourth Wall feel comfortable in the next few minutes.
the thing I'm most worried about for the side of fourth wall is the impact of the junglers on the map has been the exact same, except Broda has been securing all of the objectives and is still ahead in CS. Even with the scaling advantage that they have, with all 6 Void Grubs already secured, they can start sieging up tower after tower with the Senna wave when they have a couple of items set.
Yeah, absolutely. Even then, getting someone like Sumi onto attack is a lot of damage. Supplementing that with a little true damage dot goes a long way to ripping a tower down as fast as possible. With Broda, with the Lilia, something you can do. It's something we'd think more of from a Nocturne, but you're a significant enough threat in a 2v2 to just be behind side lanes. If there are camps between yourself and the lane you'd like to shadow and mid lane, you can move around quickly. Oh, is the 1v1 in? Stumpy's low.
Stumpy is very low. Victor can keep going for this. Has no ultimate, but the wave position is a little bit too awkward. No information on the jungler either. So will just result in a trade of ult from Stumpy. As looks like
both
the
top laners stayed.
What is this?
I'd have loved Sir Victor to try and get up on a proxy or try and get some vision information there. It's like he was just hanging off to the side. Stumpy maybe thought he'd be walking down.
Has to be a bit careful, getting really low on HP. Well, Victor doesn't have his ultimate. Kasante-based damages are more than enough to burst him down. Has his own teleport, should be just looking for a reset.
Only 15 seconds away, so the all-out would be available on the next wave. Stumpy here should probably be trying to save his teleport for this dragon, or play around it. Both top laners electing to stay not confident. The macro moves that might generate them an advantage.
This is incredibly risky from the side of Stumpy. If Warrior was here, they could set up for an easy dive, but with the wave clear, he just wants to get the cannon wave and set up for the upcoming dragon, as you mentioned, in 30 seconds. Vision game on the side of Rich Gang, have deep wards on both of the camps on the enemy side of the jungle, have most of the entrances covered as well, with Quay and Senna both able to set up for easy priority. They should be pretty good to go for this.
Sumi's going to get back here first. This is a late recall from Toxi. If Fourth Wall want to attend on time here, not only will they have to teleport, actually he's cancelled the base. I'd wonder how much gold Toxi's sat on. Might be an advantage there if Sumi's going to be able to find a clean ult. But Fourth Wall just going to give this up. They're not even moving out of bot lane. We did see the Milio start to walk towards the Tribush. Not going to have it. Not even going to look for an exit kill.
They don't really have the power yet. This is what playing for a deep scaling composition is kind of known for. You just have to give up the early objectives. If you go and fight against this range monstrosity of a bot side mid. Oh! Stumpy with the roam, flash burn. They catch out the Azir with no flash even being able to be burned. Victor gets a plate for his troubles, but another kill for one of the solo lanes.
Yeah, difficult position to be in. I feel like Fourth Wall, if you're going to give that up, the positioning also starting to matter. Pretty fresh is old as and Greg has blown the heal, both sides, committing that summoner spell. It's a bit of an odd position to be in to do that after the objective.
And this time it's Stumpy. Damage testing a little bit, but with the Kernic Raccoon, I think, is that in the inventory. Victor will be taking control of all the trading on the top side of the map. Stumpy's just going to be there to clear the way. His opportunities were gone and spent. He's now on the back foot for the rest of the game on this side.
It'll be difficult, the Maokai. Gonna have to add more in ganks. Like that twisted advantage in taking down Toxi. 2,000 and a 2,000 and change, the gold lead right now. So it's decent.
Okay.
Oh, the top lane item. Yes, this is Kanix, the shielding one. This is Magical Sunfires.
New items. Cost new difficulties for the casters.
Tons of fun. We love new items. I'm really enjoying the mythic system being gone. Like watching people have to argue. It's like, oh no, you do this one first, you do this one first. These are core items. It's like, hold on, there's more than one core item. It's a lot of fun. I hope everyone's enjoying it as much as I am.
What isn't new, though, is this Herald that is currently being taken by Victor and Warrior in full vision. They have rotated most of their team over to this. This will be first major objective taken by the blue side team. And mid lane, Sumi, again, looking for a trade. Won't be reaching Toxi for a while and needs to be careful since on the top side, there's a collapse and possible play for the tower.
Yeah, with the first tower going down in bot side, Rich Gang have actually sent everyone up here. They will attend as 5 people. They're likely going to start the fight. They know Toxie's not moved yet from mid.
Huge sleep, both of them. They have to cleanse out. Milia ult Baron, this is why it's super important to have it again. The Snow Lilia, but if the Yone finds his way in the backside, it doesn't matter. Catthing getting the kill onto Pipey. Aphelios down. 5-man collapse from Rich Gang to play against the upcoming push. And they somehow break off the aggressive play attempt.
Huge props to Broda there. Hit the baseball straight between the posts. Got the home run that looked like the last of Pipey's health bar. Yeah, great time.
And again, with this play being thwarted, Sumi can keep up the pressure onto the mid wave. Look at the tower damage coming in from the 6 Crubs. Top lane, Victor looking for Fruity Fresh and Greg.
Are we running it straight back again?
It looks like it. They still want to use the Herald somewhere, but with all the lane priority being lost around the map, they can't really find a good tempo plate to set it up.
Yeah, I don't think there's an incredible rush to use the Herald. I wouldn't mind it being used as part of a play. So Herald, same objective largely, now only spawns after platings go down. And with the ability to ride Shelly into battle, you get a bit of a Malphite ultimate situation. But instead of simply hitting someone and knocking them up, you continue to move. So you get this potentially like Malphite train through a team, and with a champion like Zac or even Toxie, if he feels really bold, you can jump out of there, pop your ultimate, really mess with your enemy team. It's been a big power play in competitive. We haven't seen it come out that much though. It's high risk, high execution, and if you're 4th wall, you do want to stop the bleeding. With Dragon coming up, you could use it to try and get a tower. There's a lot less damage if no one is riding inside the Rift Herald though. I'll have to see which way Oreo tries to play that out.
Which way?
Which way, indeed.
We are so funny. Holy, I can't believe. I think the way they're gonna go is the Dragon in 30 seconds once again, though. This would be soul points secured for Rich Gang. They have the vision set up once again, even blue buff for Fruity Fresh. And we didn't even talk about it. I think that's a support item in Fruity Fresh's inventory, so they were rocking the double support thing. And 4th wall now trying to set themselves up for the mid lane tower as the Zac is coming in. A huge chunk of damage, but should be fairly fast in clearing it away with Fruity Fresh and Greg, providing a ton of wave clear as Sumi has to teleport up, able to secure a tower as the objective still unpressured. They have to run into Maokai saplings to properly go for this. Rich Gang looking for an angle to find a better position.
I love this from Rich Gang. They've called 4th wall's bluff. 4th wall want to stop the dragon stacking. They want to slow it down, but they're going to pay with so much infrastructure, so much gold here that Sumi is generating with these 2 towers on the side lane. Is now teleporting in for the flank. It's the best of both for Rich Gang.
Huge Maokai ultimate, Sumi going in, and it's a complete bounce house back line getting dove onto by the Cassante, but Pipey and Fabi are stuck in the pit. Warrior trying to peel the rest of Rich Gang away as Victor kites out through. No, he dies just before he finishes off the kill. This is looking like a full team wipe. 4th wall has been crushed by a wrecking ball. That is Rich Gang.
The stones on the floor, not a lot left to see. Stumpy managed to pick up the dragon with a well-timed Q. Went down to 60 HP. And with that, 4th wall trying to get back in on the objectives has collapsed, unable to hold up in the team fight to Sumi's flank.
And it was a beautiful setup by Rich Gang with the teleport, with the blast cone over the wall from Stumpy. They lock up the entire back line, and Sir Victor, due to the way the game has been going, isn't powerful enough yet to finish off the 2 kiting monsters that are Fruity Fresh and Greg. You can see it in the gold. Sumi is by far the most powerful champion on the Rift.
Being able to be in 2 places at once, used so well with such a big hammer to swing. Just a lovely doubling down. Great macro play from Rich Gang. They've moved to Soul Point. Baron up on the map in 30 seconds, so we'll see the Rift start to mutate. Red and blue buffs will now be shared across teams. And with it, get to see a little bit of exciting late game play. I think we're getting to the stage now where a lot of the champions on Rich Gang's side, I'm looking at Broder and Sumi especially, have 2 items in. I'm going to get a little bit more exciting, going to deal a little bit more damage.
Well, we're gonna see a damage check here as they just ult up the Cassante. Should be able to finish him off once the CC follows through. No! Okay, there we go. The Deer is able to pick up the kill. Additional CC being provided by Warrior, but there's no follow-up as the carries are stuck defending the other lanes underneath the towers. And Fourth Wall just struggling to match the pressure coming out from Rich Gang as they start up the Baron.
They have to be so careful when Broder is on the approach. So much Omnivamp out of the Riftmaker once it is stacked. So much healing coming over the top from the center. Greg will be spotted by Warrior here.
Greg rooted up, but again, no follow-up to come through as they keep DPSing down Baron. Deals a bit more damage nowadays. Warrior just jumping in. Broda able to provide quite a bit of damage as Zac goes in the passive teleport from Stumpy, really low on HP, joining the fight, but CCing up, right? Maybe forces the cleanser. Victor secures the shutdown onto Yon, but they are all so low on HP. Double kill for Fruity Fresh. As Fabio, last one alive, taken down, and this time the Baron should be theirs with no contention.
Rich Gang in the extended front to back. Great situation. What great trust and teamwork. They're not going to finish the Baron, actually. They're calling it off.
Hoxie might be a little bit too scary.
Oh,
he doesn't have any HP or mana. I think it's just the buffed Baron in his... Is this the Hunter form?
I'm not sure. Fourth Wall have complete vision coverage. Maybe they've missed his teleport timer slightly, or they didn't see it get cast. That would be a reasonable situation in which to peel off the Baron there, because you do have Greg's healing over the top. Was about to rejoin the effort to take the Baron, but if you're not sure if Azir is going to come from the back and get a pentakill with his ultimate, maybe best to move away.
Yeah, and why not? They are so far ahead in gold. Almost 10k now is the gold difference, and it's mostly in jungle. If I had to guess, both AD carry and jungle should be quite far ahead as we see. Yep, the Lilia is absolutely ginormous. It will be rough for Fourth Wall to take her down. Broda definitely giving us a nice performance on this little bit less seen jungler in the current meta as they go for the collapse. Victor, away from the rest of his team, will just get taken down, and the bot side, they have a big wave to play with.
We'll be able to get in under the tier 2 tower. All remaining members of Fourth Wall I have to make a bit of a decision here. With Sumi's teleport up, another flank is due if they run towards this Baron. A desperation play potentially on the cards. That Scuttle Crab won't leave a lasting sigil of vision. It offers them no safety. Well, instead, just let them know there is a ward from Rich Gang. No proactive play to be made. Fourth Wall duck inside their own jungle. Prisoners.
They need to do something. Yo's knocking down their back door. The tower's already almost gone. They just recall away. They lost 1.5 towers for absolutely nothing. And still Rich Gang has the priority as Victor can try to do something to Sumi, but I don't know if they can in any way catch this Yon. They have almost no mobility on their side of the team unless Warrior finds a miracle pick. I have no idea how they
this is a safe and given over Hextech Soul for sure. I can hear it now in the Fourth Wall comms. We'll try and flip it at Elden. I think that's the plan. I think it's the play. I think it's a hold-on angle to potentially try and pick up that superpowered buff later on in the game. Try and contest a Baron. Try and slow everything down. It won't stop Rich Gang at this stage having their enormous lead, but eventually item slots will fill up. Gold efficiency will fall as characters start to overcap, which will build. And I think Fourth Wall just gambling on going there right now. Probably not going to force the issue. 11,000 gold is an awful lot to harvest.
It is an overwhelming gold deficit that they have to overcome if they want to somehow end the first kickoff day of Division 2 on a win. They see the Baron now being reset, still playing careful, trying to look for any picks they could find. Asumi once again down on the bot side of the map. keeping up the pressures. Victor loses half of his HP just due to the poke. Stumpy even using the ultimate to force the peel away. Milio ult forced out. Now, Broda is unleashed. If the Lilia gets a multi-man ult, they have no way to escape from it, and they know it. Head back to the Baron as the bot lane inhibitor has fallen.
Alright, a nice secure take, and fourth wall, they're trying to base, they're trying to get back to deal with Sumi, they're stuck between this Baron and their own base. Trying to draw Rich Gang away, trying to slow them down. Broda takes nearly no damage from this Baron. Despite the buff. Almost catching Pipey. Teleport going to be expended. That will be Sir Victor blocking potential takedown. The Baron, nice and easy over the Rich Gang. Going to try and take this forward slowly, calmly, smoothly. Try and find an engage, and then it's going to be base break time.
They found Greg. They want to fight this when Rich Gang separates. Senna already being shut down, and now Rich Gang have to retreat away. Victor holding in a little bit away from the rest of his team. Pretty fresh as the flash, but they take down top there. I'm Sumi! Rich Gang find the counter engage and blow fourth wall and the game out of the water.
4 smithereens remain, little pebbles on the floor of fourth wall. An absolute smash for Rich Gang in their first game. We can critique it. We can say it's not the superstar roster that was taken to the regional promotional series, but all the same, they have dominated here in game 1. They take down fourth wall convincingly in 26 minutes.
And after the first 2 games, first one of the day, absolute banger, 40 minutes. Second one, bit of a draft game. This third one, absolute domination from Rich Gang. They knew what they are good at, came prepared with their game plan, and executed it beautifully.
I'm sort of happy to see like Division 2 mainstays like Sir Victor like hold their own in lane at least, and not give up completely. There is the risk when you play these scaling compositions that if you don't bridge successfully to later on, as I'd have probably put more weight on Warrior doing in this game on the Zac, that you don't make it. The advantage is overwhelming. I think Sumi had a really easy time playing the Yone this game, and every time there was like, oh, this should be a setup for fourth wall to play. They should play this objective. You've sort of accepted your scaling. You've got a few items under your belt. You're not where you want, but you're going to show up. And then we saw a huge Yone flank to sort of end that fight, complete domination, and it blew the game open irreversibly.
Well, we will be having a short break as we set up the interview. The coach of Rich Gang will be joining us as Siklash will give us some insight on how this game went. We'll be right back. And welcome back. We are joined by Skylash, the coach of Rich Gang. Congratulations on the opening day win.
Thank you very much.
And first of all, I'm Finnish. I have to ask about my homeboys, Fruity Fresh and Stumpy, finding a team in Division 2. I know they love to cook, and you let them do their thing. How has it been practicing and utilizing these two unique players?
I can tell you that I think Stumpy has only played one scrim where he repeated his champion. Like, even the Maokai, he has never played it with us. It was just something that we cooked during today's like discussions. And I love Fruity's champion pool because I'm used to like players that played Ziggs, players that played Aurelion, but it was Arlen Soul mid and Swain mid. And having a player that can do that on bottom lane gives me so much more like space to draft. And I'm already used to drafting those kind of picks, so it's perfect for me.
Nice. How's the mood in camp? Does that look like a pretty confident first game? Is everyone riding a high right now? Everyone feeling good about the regular season?
I'm gonna be honest. We locked the roster later than we should, so we didn't have like that much practice riding into this first game. There was some nervousness, part of like the newer players. But overall, like the more experienced players, like Stampy, Sammy, and whatnot, they were already like fine with it. And the moment we played the game, everyone was super hyped. And at the end of it, I think it helped like suiting the newer players and like just hyping up our split overall.
That's powerful. It's the best way to start a split. I think we all know it. We don't get too many times to sit down with coaches. I think just on broadcast in general, something I would have loved to do when I was, interested in picking 5 champions and helping 5 people get better at the game. From your point of view, what do you want from this split? What's the NLC 2 to you right now?
Personally, and this is like a personal thing for me, I want to do what was done last split, which was the 18-0. And I think that's almost impossible to achieve, but I still want to do it. The coach that is a friend of mine, and we coached against each other some years ago. We're friends, and I want to do the same thing as he did, go the 18-0 if possible. Of course, that's super hard. For the team, I just want to win the split. It doesn't matter the end score. It can be a BO5 that goes 5 games. It can be whatever. I just want to win the split for the responsibility that Touch gave me and the chance overall that Rich Gang put on me.
I'm going to extend on that one. The goal is 18-0. The goal is domination. Who's your biggest rival? Who have you seen across the court? Who's the other danger?
To be honest, I thought First Wall would be one of our biggest competitors. The other one should be Chaos, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Chaos, pretty scary team.
It seemed. I'm not sure if it's the meta or if it's because of the beginning of the split. They seem a bit more slowish than we anticipated, but I'm still hoping for them to give us great games overall, and I'm excited to play them for sure.
Right.
Okay, well, Temporal kind of stole the final question out of my mouth.
Have another one. I'm enjoying hanging out with Skylash. I think this is going very, very well for Rich Gang, and they deserve their moment in the sun.
Yeah, but just one thing, guys. You've pronounced my name incorrectly twice. It's Cyclash.
Cyclash.
It's Cyc, not Sky.
I got it right. I got it right. Reading it off
always
Discord.
write it wrong, even if they see.
We've spelt it wrong. That's our fault.
Well, let's have one. Let's have one
fine.
extra since we have a coach here. We rarely have the coaches. Well, of course, the season is on a completely new patch. We have the completely new rift. How has it been as a coach adapting to the new rift with no mythic items and there being so much more freedom when it comes to strategy?
To me personally, I like it. Like, I've been discussing it with other teams from other leagues, and there's a really nice thing that we like to do, which is talking what we think is the prior and what we think it's a meta. And what we've seen is that different people from different leagues have whole different metas, more than the other splits where the meta was super stale. I think this is a super competitive meta right now, and it gives you freedom to opt into weird metas, weird like champion pools, like what we do in Rich Gang, which I think it's the best thing we can do.
Yeah. Well, again, a really cool, unique performance. in this game one. Congratulations once again. We'll be heading to a small break as we head into our final game of the day, where 42 Gaming will be facing off against G2 Hell. We'll see you after a short bit. Hello, and sorry for all the technical issues and delays. Sadly, due to the TRs kind of messing with our production, we sadly cannot bring you the final game of the evening on this stream, and instead we'll be sending you over to G2's side of things. They're streaming the game as well, so hopefully...
Yeah, go send them some love. It's twitch.tv/G2esports. The games will be broadcast there. It's 42 Gaming up against G2 Hell for the final game of this evening. Blue Whites already played on an alternate pattern. Go and check out NLC Twitter at NLC LOL if you want to check out all the latest.
Yeah, with that, sorry once again from our side of things, but we'll see you on G2 stream. Goodbye.
Things happen. It's been a pleasure, Carvis. Good night.
Been a pleasure.